Oh, where am I? 1 second. I should be. There I am. Good evening, guys. How you doing? I realized I hadn't set this overlay up at all, so it's probably going to do the same when I go on here. I'm going to disappear. Yeah, so let me just put that back up here. There we go. There we go. Bit of a technical hitch at the start there, but whatever. I forgot I'd not actually set this one up. I'm on a hollow deck. I also look a bit stretched. Let me just sort that out. There we go. Yeah, so I've got a green screen now, so I'm messing around with some crazy things. So the way this works, there are currently 70 images on there. There's a cooldown as well, and it's not going to tell you what the cooldown. It's 3 minutes, but it's not going to give you a warning to say that there's 3 minutes remaining. So once somebody's tried, you're going to have to wait 3 minutes to try again, or you can skip the queue by spending your shimmer shillings down at the bottom, and that will give you just a random screen that we've not seen before. There's also a cooldown on that, so just be warned that somebody tries to if somebody purchases that, then it will automatically set a cooldown timer off, and you won't be able to purchase again. There's also a limit on how many times per stream you can do it. Um, what I'm also going to do is anybody who's subbed either through Patreon or through Twitch, you can send me an image, and I'll add it to the collection with your name. So with your name. So for instance, if Andy Magic Knight did it, he'd be able to do BG Andy Magic Knight, and it would trigger it off. So let me just demonstrate how the thing works in here. So as soon as you discover a new background, as soon as you use this Shimmy Shilling Redemption, it resets the timer again, and it will tell you the name of it, but it's not going to image size. As long as it's kind of 720p roughly or above, then it should be fine. And I'll add them after stream, so they'll be available on the next stream. So I'm just going to discover one now. It's going to pick one at random and throw it in the background. So it's picked Sydney. So there's nice boring ones in there at the moment. But it will tell you the name as well, so you can remember it for next time. There's no way to list the names that have already been revealed, so you have to remember them. But the names should give you a clue as to other things that might be available as well, so you'll be able to try and discover new backgrounds yourself. So yeah, anyway, that's the idea. I'm going to try and add a couple more each week to give you lots to discover, and let's see how long it takes you to discover them all. Mega65 screen during stream. We need IK Plus for Mega65. God, yeah, don't we? That would be awesome, actually. So there's also another command, BG count, which will tell you how many backgrounds have been discovered. The first image you saw was just called Hollow Deck. I'll tell you that one now for free, so you can change to that. And you can change every 3 minutes or so. Yeah. There's also new command AMK, which will tell you your position in the AMK charts as well. Digilent board to first person to unlock them all. Good luck unlocking them all. There's a lot. So yeah, there you go. I've added three more commands in. I don't. It took me quite a while to do it actually, because the browser that's built into OBS won't let you load an image by its source tag, so I had to do it through CSS, which was a little bit weird. I don't know why I had to do it that way. I'm guessing it's to do with security reasons, but I mean, I could still load it through CSS, so it didn't make any sense. But I guess it wouldn't trigger any of the DOM events, so probably why. Okay, so let me add points to you all and explain what we're going to do tonight. So let me just mute myself on there. That's weird. It's very strange. Start the races for you. Right, so there you go. You've got even more crap to play around with now. Um, oh god, entertainer. You have 2/3 of all the AMK points. Well, there's plenty of opportunity tonight. So what I wanted to do tonight, let me just put this view on and de-squash myself a little bit. There we go. When the quiz is gone. So what I wanted to do tonight was just work on some basic collision. I've got a few ideas of how to do the collision. It is terrible, this tune. Oh god, these games are really hard on the PlayStation. It's really hard to focus with this song on as well. Yeah, it is film related, isn't it? Jackie Chan, something over. Yeah, it's got to be right. Anyway, what we're going to do tonight then is we're going to look at collisions. So basically, I want to be able to have maybe several layers of different several kind of tiers of collisions. So the most basic one will be the one that we're used to seeing in C64 games, which is just kind of bounding box collision. Um, there's no hardware collision to hook into because we're using raster rewrite buffer layer, so it's all chars against chars, and we're not going to get that. But what I'm thinking of doing is creating a bounding box collision system where we can supply a bounding box for the sprite, and it will check against characters to see if we're bounding shades. I'm not sure what you mean there. Um, no, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm trying to think. But oh, failing. I see. I see. Yeah, you have to use the little points thing down at the bottom. Um, yeah, so we're going to do simple bounding box collision first, which is just going to tell us if two bounding boxes are colliding. Um, actually, no, I think we'll do point. We'll implement bounding box collision at some point, but for now, when we have sprites versus sprites, or kind of RRB sprites versus RRB sprites, but for now we want sprites versus the background. So I'm just going to do point collision first, which is going to be given a point uh, relative to the sprite. So we'll pass in a sprite number, a meta sprite number even, and an offset into that sprite, so we can check each foot and the kind of head and things like that. Same way we do it on pick and mix as well. We'll test that against a particular layer, so you'll be able to. You'll test it against the control layer, which will be the one that has the collision in. So all the background stuff won't matter. The only layer that will matter will be the collision, the control layer. In this case, this front layer here. Um, once we've got that in, we'll be able to add some very basic controls in, so that we can land on things and walk across things. I mean, basically, what we're going to add in first is just one collision type, but we can enhance that later. How we actually fetch the collision type of an object doesn't matter at the moment. We'll put a dummy routine in just to say if there is something there that's not an empty tile. So if it's not, if it's not, can you actually? You can't see my cursor on there, can you? Okay. If it's not an empty tile, basically up in this area here, then it's a collision. So that it will collide on ladders, everything. It will just say that there's something there. Then what I want to do is potentially enhance that a little bit further. And if there is a collision, do some comparisons um, between the collision point, the actual character within the meta sprite that's collided. So if this is made up of is it six characters, this is made up of. So we take one of those six that's collided, and compare it to the character that it's on and do some kind of probably some and in between the two to get to work out exactly where in that it's collided, so we'll be able to do better things. Slopes will definitely be coming into this. Slopes and steps is gonna. I've already got some climb animations for this. Um, so yeah, there's a few things. I've got a jump animation. I've got a turn animation because at the moment he's just turning straight away, but I've got an actual animation where he swaps the gun in his hand as he turns. Um, oh, bear in mind there is a cooldown as well, Andy. Um, but just a little hint: one of those two, one of those two backgrounds is a valid background. I should maybe display the background cooldown somewhere. I'll do that on my next before tomorrow. Okay, so let's think about how to do this. Okay, so we've got sprites in one layer in this special kind of static layer that's actually not static. It's actually as we move around the map, it's being adjusted to keep the sprite in the right place. So we can treat the sprite layer as if it was a sprite on a normal C64. Um, so what we want to do is we want to take a given sprite in that layer and work out where its corresponding character is in the control layer. So we'll start by doing that. Now, I want to make this kind of generic and used for everybody, so useful for everybody. So I need to figure out where we're going to put this in the framework. My gut feeling is probably the raster rewrite buffer sprite area, um, unless we just have a whole thing dedicated to collisions. Um, oh, what's all this code? What's that all coming out for? I do not know why that's commented out, but I'm going to leave that there for now. Uh, yeah, there's a few things in here that have been commented out. I don't want to mess with it too much. I need to figure out where to put this. So I'm thinking actually maybe it should be a separate thing because collision, uh, there's various types of collision depending on what you want to check. So, oh yeah, let me set the windows up. Hang on. There we go. So I'm on the Copperberg tonight, but I might drink some. I've got some Kraken, quite a lot of Kraken actually. So I might have a go at that later, depending on how we're doing. Um, it is a huge ass font. Let me just knock it down one notch because it is a bit too big. There we go. Yeah, quiz or races or backgrounds are cracking. Yeah, there's a lot of extra stuff. I just really wanted to kind of play around, and I liked the idea of adding them in. It was somebody I work with gave me the idea, and I was just from some other stream they were viewing, but they had a system where viewers could just add a background, and then over it would get kind of moderated, and if it was suitable, then it would get put on. But I preferred the idea of giving subs a background that they could tie to their own name, which I can moderate off stream, and then automating a load of backgrounds as well and making it a little bit of a game to discover them all. I mean, maybe I'll award some shimmer shillings for people discovering them or something, um, and just put a timer in the top corner. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. Um, is that the right one though? Let's just go boom. So because it uses like a fuzzy search, so they might not get the right one straight away. Oh, this is quite good though. I like it. There you go. It's not very good, the Doncaster one, because I'm hiding most of it with my chair. So, I mean, ideally, I should kind of be off to one side. Uh, I see. I think I know the tune as well. Okay, cool. Let's take a look. That's good. Hide it all, burn it with fire. um, I like the fact that you discovered one already, though. Although I did kind of give you a clue, but yeah, just remember there is a 3 minute cooldown as well. So if somebody has changed one, you have to wait 3 minutes to try again. So bear in mind that you will not be told if your guess was correct or not, only if the timer has expired. So anyway, right, let's crack on. Let's get some actual coding done. So yeah, I think I will create a new file for this. We'll call this collision systems. This can go in the framework and just be called collision.s. All right. Am I actually doing that? Are we doing them with capitals? No, I haven't. Okay, good. Okay, so the collision systems. Let's work out what things we need in here. In fact, let's just put a comment up here. So number one, RB sprite. Uh, RB sprite point offset to control layer char. So what do I mean by raster rewrite with a point offset? So that is where you're going to supply an ID um, for the meta sprite, which we know in the player's case. I think it's hard coded to zero. Actually, it's animation. Yeah, that's what we call it, animation point offset. Because the raster rewrite buffer sprite is one smaller part of that. So, good evening, Monopoly. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the host, by the way, Proud7 and Andy. I missed both of those. Don't know why. I missed the noise. I hope my alerts are working in my ear. Okay, so this is an animation point offset. So animations have an index that we pass in here through these macros. So we'll have a routine. Oh, this was pre-start. Okay. So there'll be some macros tied to this. Unfortunately, they annoyingly with the macros, they have to kind of live outside here, but they can call things within this, which is probably what they're going to do. But the basic kind of calls can be in here. So let's set the macros up here. So this would be animation point to char. Okay. So we'll do this one first, but I'm just going to put notes in for what the other ones would be. Animation to animation, which is going to be when we want to do sprite to sprite collision sort of thing. It's one super annoying thing with Scope. Yes, it is really annoying. Actually, this should probably be. Let's do it as one. I mean, it's a long macro name, but it doesn't matter too much. Let's change it to anim point to shorten it down. So let's just call it anim to char because there's no such thing as anim to char in any other way. It's just we know there's going to be an offset in here. So this will be animation number, and then anim offset x, off x, anim off y. And that's pretty much all we need from this. And what I want this to do is return a character that you may be that you may be touching. Yeah. I just realized as well. I need to have a think about how to do the BG thing, um, because if somebody beats you to it, then theirs counts as the cooldown reset. But remember as well, you can reset it with there is the redeem channel points for 750, which will discover one for you, and that will reset the counter as well. Okay, so this one would just be anim to anim collision, and so this will just return anim number 1 and anim number 2, I guess, and this will just return if these two are overlapping. Again, I may add some additional checks in here to actually compare the two on a pixel level. We've got the speed to do that, and we could maybe even use DMA to do that, because what DMA will let you do, DMA will let you copy a value to a location and perform an and on the target, I think. Yeah, and a number A and B. That makes more sense. Thank you. Um, yeah, you're all too quick with the BGs. So yeah, I'm thinking the DMA might come in handy for doing this. I need to have a think about how it works. I have to have a look at it properly. But I know there are some anding properties in there. For instance, there's a transparency copy as well, which might actually no, that wouldn't help. But I'll have a look. I think there is a way. I think there is a way to do it. Yeah, let's give monsters some points for that for a good naming convention. And he wants to get more people on the chart, so there you go. Oh, there you go. You put that one in. Oh, Discover. Okay. So this is the next generation bridge. There's a limit on how many times that can be redeemed as well, by the way. So there's a limit per stream that they can be redeemed. Yeah. Engage. Make it so. Yeah. Make it so. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's Andy telling me that there's no sound. Yeah, there. Okay. And then the third one is actually no, the third one is probably just an extension of these. Is that comparing like pixel perfect overlap on things. So for now we'll work on these two. In fact, we'll just work on the first one. There's no point in doing the second one yet until we get some stuff for it to edit into. So all I want to do really is check a single point at the moment at the base of Perseus's feet, just to see if he needs to fall or not. That's all we're going to do for now. I'll get some player code. Or actually, we do have yeah, we do have. Well, we have control. Oh, this is kind of temporary stuff here. Okay, so we need to start fleshing out the player code as well in a minute. But for now, let's just work out where we are in the collision. So this should be pretty easy to do because we can just highlight something in the control layer. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that we take into account scroll positions and things like that. So it's not going to be super straightforward to do, and there's going to be some awkwardness with the way that the raster rewrite buffer works in working out exactly where on the screen we are. It's not going to be as simple as we do on the C64, so we just need to make sure that those things are correct. So um, let's start by creating some kind of link to this somewhere so that we're calling it all the time. So here's our main loop at the moment. So we do a control and an animations update. Then we clear and redraw the raster rewrite buffer. And we do some scrolling here. So drawing the layers as we go. So my thought is to probably do it after we've drawn the layers. Actually, no, we can do it before because it's the layers will only draw if they need updating. So let's do it here. And let's just indent it. Anything indented, we know is going to be temporary. So we're going to call this macro, and we're going to pass in our animation of 0, and our offset is going to be halfway across the character. The character is 32 pixels. Is it 32 pixels wide? Yeah, 32 pixels wide. So we'll go 16 across, and he's 48 pixels high. So we'll do 48. Actually, it would be 47 because we want to know if the pixel is it actually. Do you want the pixel just below the feet or actually in the feet? I guess it's just below, isn't it? So let's do 48. Thank you very much for the sub, Wardrobe UK. Appreciated. Cheers. Um, cool. So that's what we're going to call. We're going to call this every frame. I should probably turn those IRQ bands off now. I don't know because I don't need those anymore. So that we'd set these interrupts up just to have a. Actually, where is that? Add interrupts. They're not being sorted, are they? I think. Let me just check how they're being sorted. So okay, that won't do anything because I haven't put any code in there yet. So let me just move this interrupt to here. So we've got 4 bands. Let's just see if we still get 4 bands. I can't remember if I've sorted these or not already. I may have already done this, but where's that? Unlimited char collision. Oh, because I've not included it. Okay. I'm going to rename it to collisions because it fits with everything else that has a plural on the end. There we go. I did toy with the idea of taking. Okay, so there is no sorting in the interrupts. Okay, so that's something we need to add at some point. So I'm just going to put a to do in there. Just going to quickly reset that. Apologies. Please don't look at the screen if you have epilepsy. That's probably not the best thing to do. Let me just do that. There we go. Come on, man, run. There we go. Apologies. Animation is kind of like a meta object. So I got kind of worried about how to call things. So what I've done is my main meta sprites basically are called animations, and the animation contains a list of which raster rewrite buffer sprites that they're made up of. So the 6 characters or more, how they're laid out. So the grid that they're laid out in, and has some functions for changing animations and setting up frames. So there is a whole animation system around this um, that allows you to kind of add a new animation to the screen. So that's how we start. We add an animation here. We say how wait, width and height of animation in. Oh yeah, so it's 2 wide and 1 high. Raster rewrite buffer sprite is actually a stack of 6. I need to document all this properly, which I will do at some point. I've been trying to do it a little bit in the stuff up here. And yeah, there you can set attributes as well. So you can turn them on and off, set the loop. You can set a loop to be ping pong or normal, and you can set configurations as well. So I think at the moment it's just at the end here, but this will be in a separate file. So you set all your configs in a separate file. And so you say first byte is how many frames there are, and then you define all the sprites that make up the grid in each frame. And this is how you define a Perseus run. And then you have different ways of setting an animation. So you set animation now, and then you've got set animation on complete, and you can tell it which frame number or something like that. I'm not entirely sure how we can do that yet, but that's to allow us to properly sequence animations instead of just having them snap to another one. You'll be able to make sure that you can't start a run animation until the turn animation has happened properly, things like that. And the parameters in the animations are there. Yeah, so you can loop things backwards. You can flip them as well. Different loops, and you turn them on and off as well. And yeah, this is the bit I need to abstract. So at the moment, the raster rewrite buffer sprites are all 48 pixels high, so they consist of a stack of 6 characters. So it's actually 12 characters. This is made up of, not 6. Um, but I need to abstract that out a little bit and maybe set that somewhere else. Maybe it's part of this. I'm not sure. I need to work that out. But okay, let me turn these raster layers off because they're not needed at all. They're just kind of slightly off point. So just make sure that works with those off. But yeah, animations is kind of like the sprites, if you like, what you would traditionally call. Uh, well, I guess they're more like meta sprites because it's a sprite with some additional information. So it can consist of multiple raster rewrite buffer sprites in whatever layout you want, and then whichever animation sequence you want, you can set the speeds and things like that separately. So there's macros for all of that as well. Um, okay, these are all our inits. So let's just keep all the inits together. These are our initial layer draws, floppy loads. Color palette selection seems not to do anything. Oh yeah, we were having some issues with selecting palette colors. I think this is to do with the way that the rest of rewrite buffer sprites are set up. So that's another one to do. And let me just add another to do on here for sort interrupts. So the interrupt system is a similar system built of macros. So you'll be able to just add in it. You'll be able to point a line number and a method and say add that interrupt, and there'll be a corresponding remove interrupt as well, and it'll automatically sort them. So we don't have to kind of mess around chaining animations ourselves. We can do it. We can do it through the macro system, and it's done automatically for you. What I want to try and do is take as much of the kind of annoying setup out of these kind of frameworks as possible out of it, and just leave the code with the kind of fun stuff. Um, but still, obviously, leave them with assembly so they can do some cool stuff in assembly. Okay, let's go back over here. Okay, uh, so this is being called now every frame, which is coming into here. So we need to do a few things. So first thing, we need to work out how we're going to call this from here. We want to do as little as we can in the macro, so that whenever we use this, it's not adding tons and tons of bytes. And we want the reusable piece of code in here to do the majority of it. So let's do anim to chart in here. So this is the call that's actually going to be made. So let's put that in here. And let's think about how this is going to work. So we've got several registers, so we could just bung these into registers. And that, oh, pardon me, that kind of makes sense actually, because we've got anim number here and an X and a Y. So I kind of feel like this should be anim off X. This should be anim off Y. And then we just need to have a think about, do we pass this in the accumulator or in the Z register? My brain is saying the Z register because that will allow us to save probably a couple of bytes by probably bytes and cycles actually, by not having to transfer it from the accumulator to anywhere. But I need to have a think about how that's going to go. So I'm just going to put my animation stuff over here so I can see it. I know you guys won't be able to see it that well. In fact, let me switch back to that. There's no need for you to see um, that until we need to. So let's put it there. So I have to get back into the swing of this a little bit. I've not touched it for a week, so Um, okay, so animations. So we should have a list of data in the animation somewhere, which we do. And this is has our list of uh, animation positions. Okay, so this is all we care about. We don't care about the width and the height because we're not doing this. We're not doing the bounding box. In fact, I just put it in brackets here. This is bounding box, and this is pointer char. Because we're not doing bounding box, we don't care about the animation width or height. All we care about is the origin and the offset together. So the first thing we can probably do, let's worry about. Oh, actually, no, we do need that, don't we? So actually, I think we do need to pass. I do think we need to pass in X and Y differently because I think we should probably pass the anim number in X. I know it doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but I'm going to put in here that this is. I always use X for whenever I'm indexing something in a data structure like this, so it makes sense to keep using that value. And I'll use Z instead for X. It seems a little bit weird, but it's kind of internal to the macro, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, so if X is anim number, Z equals X offset, and Y equals Y offset. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to grab the X position plus the offset and the Y position plus the offset. So the Y position is going to be easy because that's just going to be an 8-bit number. It's not going to be a 9-bit number. Liverpool. I mean, I should put that in there, but I haven't. I'll tell you that now. I'll tell you what, for tonight, if you do a BG and it is one, I'll let you know that it is one. It's just in case because the timer's a bit screwy at the moment, so I'm going to put a little timer probably in the top corner of the thing up here, just to show the count of the time left. And so far, I will tell you, there have been 2 more cities mentioned tonight, which do exist on the list. But that's it. Nobody else has got anything else. Okay. Right. Let's start with Y because Y is going to be the easy one. So let's load animations data dot ypos. Is that animations? Yeah, animations data dot ypos. Oops. Actually, let's do transfer Y to the accumulator. Yeah. Okay, so now the accumulator get Y point. I'm try and comment as I go here. I'll tell you now, there are no Commodore 64 games in there, or for that matter, I don't think there's any Amiga games in there either at the moment. There are a couple of games in there though, but they're modern games. So after each guess, yeah, I will. Yeah, once somebody makes a guess, then the countdown starts again. If somebody makes a guess during that countdown, it just gets ignored. So, well done, Skunk Monkey. There you go. Valheim background there. Shitty little house. I build much nicer houses than that. This was me this afternoon, just going through images online, going, "Oh, that'll do. That'll do." There's some nice TV show ones in there as well. I think you've seen Star Trek Next Generation already. But I'm trying to create packs of themes as well. So when you see one, you can kind of have a rough guess at other ones as well. So okay, can we expect a TARDIS background eventually? Maybe, but I'll tell you there isn't one there now. I'll tell you that now. I haven't had a lot of time to do it, but like I say, if you send me, if you want an image in there, just send me an image through Discord, roughly 720p. It can be as big as you want, but it needs to be kind of that aspect ratio, and I think 720p is about the right size for it to not look pixelated. Any smaller than that, it might look a bit pixelated. Um, Although it does get shrunk down, so maybe not. Okay, so that's a Y point. I don't know what we're going to do with this yet. This is probably going to have to be used as a lookup into the main array in a minute, into the main layer, control layer, sorry. So for now, I'll just leave it there for now. In fact, I'm just going to store it at beef. There we go. So it's going to be transferred somewhere shortly. It's likely that what's going to happen here is this is going to be added to another value somewhere else, because I think we're probably going to have to add the control layer scroll amount on here as well. We need to be really accurate about how we do this. So in fact, I think while we're doing this, I think just for now, this should be 0, 0. So use the top corner of the sprite. Just for kind of consistency, it'll be a bit easier for us to view. Or shall I do the middle at the top? So no, it needs to be top corner. I might need to put a little marker in so we can see exactly where it is. Okay, so to get the X point, now this is going to be a bit different because we've got two values in here for this. We've got a low and a high. The X offset will only be 8-bit, so we can start with that. And we can add our XPOS low in. And then that needs to be stored somewhere. And then we need to load XPOS high and add 0. And then that needs to be stored somewhere as well. Ah, jury. Oh, London, there you go. Well done, Eldritch. Hey guys, how's it going? I left not long after you switched games from Chalky Egg, so to come and sort this out. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. You look like you're having fun tonight. Chucky Egg, the music was driving me mad, by the way. Really, really driving me mad. But yeah, if you've not been to see Jury's stream, go and check him out. He's been playing Amiga games every week for a long time, but I've finally managed to go and see him tonight. It looked a lot of fun. So you worked on which one? Batman Cape Crew. Oh, did you? Interesting. Really, really good game. I like this game. It has a really cool. If it's actually, is this the one I'm thinking of? Is this the one that had the cartoon frames when you went in different screens? I think it's that one, isn't it? Cape Crusader. I played it on the Spectrum first, I think. Oh, yeah, we do need that. Thank you, Mad Beagle. I'm going to add some points onto you for that. If I can figure out how to get the name up properly. Yeah, comic book frames thought so. Yeah, I think I played it on the Spectrum first, and then I think I got it a bit later on C64 as well. Very, very cool game. Very, very nicely written, interesting way to write it. So it needs it on all of these actually. So yeah, good point there. Well spotted. Okay, so this gives us an X point as well. So now we've got a position in the sprite, a screen position in the sprite. Now bear in mind that the sprite layer itself moves around, but the sprite position is static to the screen. So this is completely static on the screen. So if I set let me actually, I need to make sure, did I actually add border for the sprites. I may not have added a border on the sprites. Transfer Z to 8. Thank you. Oh god, Mad Beagle on form. Thank you. Oh, that's enough. I'm going to add more points to that. That's good. Interesting. Yeah, London. There you go. So I work not too far from there, actually. Just trying to work out where that would be. I work no this way, just a little bit that way, just about probably about 10 minutes walk from Westminster. Although not at the moment. I work from home. Starting my stream, we checked out my March coding challenge entry progression. You go to an office. I used to. Haven't been there for over a year now. Yeah, but yeah, I used to. 10-minute walk or 25-minute drive. Yeah. Okay. So this is those 2 points. I just want to check actually that I don't think I've included a border for the sprites, and they do need a border. So I just want to see where that sprite gets positioned, because that's going to be quite important that gets positioned correctly. Jump to subroutine and to char. Should be collisions to char. I should probably put an RTS in here. I mean, this is going to store in a weird location. Hopefully, there's nothing there. I don't think there is. We'll soon find out if it crashes massively. So tomorrow I'm going to do Mega65 as well. I'm kind of, as I said, I've said this a few times. I'm kind of happy to just kind of keep delaying pick and mix a little bit. I want to dedicate the stream to Mega65, but hopefully there'll be some. Oh, I have made it go off the screen. Okay, that's good. I did do a border then. That's good to know. At least I hope I did a border. I'm not seeing it on the screen anyway. No, no, I'm not so sure. Let's just position it across a little bit. Have I found any hardware bug while working on it? Yeah, I found a couple of little things here and there. There was some serious issues with the raster rewrite buffer when I first started messing with it, but Paul managed to fix it really, really quickly, so that was kind of nice. Okay, I'm not entirely sure where the actual thing starts. Trying to think what else. There was a couple of things in the DMA as well that needed fixing. Where is this? Hang on, I want to check. It's been so long since I did it. I can't remember actually what the positioning does now. So first of all, I need to work out where the raster rewrite buffer layer is. So it could be in layers, it could be in raster rewrite buffer. Okay, so set layer scrolls. Here we go. So okay, so the sprite layer doesn't get adjusted the same way. Oh God. I can't wait to do this more often because I'm really struggling to remember everything that I've done already. So actually, talking about going into the office, since I changed my role, I think my role, because before I used to do kind of tech leading and architectural stuff, I'd have to be going around helping people quite a lot, and I'd be kind of going desk to desk quite often, and a lot of kind of in-person meetings. But now I'm doing cybersecurity. I think it's pretty much can be all done remotely. So It's likely I'm probably going to end up working at home most of the time from now on. Where's the position? Okay, position. Okay, so it's just actually storing. So there is going to be somewhere in here the drawer, set new pointers, set position. Here we go. Get segment and in width. Okay. So there is a new gig's 100% remote based. Wow. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Because you're Florida, aren't you? So that's one hell of a that'd be a, that'd be a hell of a commute. That's like, well, that's about as opposite as you can get, isn't it? Seattle and Florida. I think that's like opposite ends of the country, opposite diagonals of the country. So yeah, I mean, the only way you could possibly go more diagonal is if you went to Alaska, I guess. But um, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's kind of the future, especially in the IT industry. There's really I mean, we've proved during this pandemic that there's really not much need to be in an office, and I think companies that will be happy the productivity has kind of been I mean certainly my company productivity has kind of remained about the same. So I think there was always the fear that if you just let everybody work from home that nobody would ever work. But I think we I think I mean I hope it's the same for most companies, but I think they've proven that at least in my company that that's it's perfectly viable for people to work from home, and that actually means they can kind of downsize the office a little bit and get something a bit smaller, because we were looking to move office. I don't know what's happening with that now, because we needed to move because we're expanding, but maybe we won't now. So I suppose trying to stay locally, open up remote, turn the planet so flight. That's cool. That is really cool. Hey, Steps, how you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, I think it is kind of the future, at least some kind of hybrid working from home. So while not everybody will be working from home 100% of the time, I think there will definitely be a switch to a kind of 50-50 approach or more sort of thing. So uh, for techish folks, yeah, I realize that won't be the same for everybody, but certainly in the tech industry, there's really not a huge amount you need to go into the office for. Watching Twitch and YouTube. To be fair, when I am working in the office, I tend to have something on in the corner anyway. Work on console, not being able to have them with you is quite annoying. Yeah, I can imagine. There's a few things that do kind of get on my nerve a little bit. So some of the remote access, remote kind of desktop stuff is a little bit frustrating at times. But it's the thing is because it tends to be slower accessing it from outside the office, because we always remote desktoped in anyway, to a lot of boxes, um but having to do it from outside the office when you're not on an internal network means it is a little bit slower. But it does mean that what they'll tend to do is they'll tend to put more money into these things anyway, and start improving kind of connections to these things, messing around with the proxies and stuff, making sure it's as efficient as it can be. Okay, so there does seem to be a layer subtraction here for the main layer based on the scroll position. So there is a scroll position for the layer. We won't, because it's made static. But at some point we should see. So let me put this back in the middle of the screen. So at some point we should see the player kind of peeking in one side of the screen. I'm going to set the position to Y position to 80 so I can at least see where it is. Maybe it's already on the screen. You see, it might have been at the top of the screen. Okay, so 10 is just about on the screen. So if I do 0, it will be off. So it's going to be off by one raster rewrite buffer width. So I might have to change the scroll a little bit on that, but for now this is fine. I can, because the layers are drawn on X shiftable layers, so it's very easy for me to shift a layer over mm, a bit more to allow me to hide things in the border a bit. So this is absolutely fine like this, I think. For now, we can work out the kind of logistics of it later. In fact, I mean, it's enough if you consider that the sprites, the raster rewrite buffer sprites are always 16 pixels wide. So as long as you hide the part that's off screen, it would be absolutely fine. But I think what I'll do is I'll extend the border on each side by about another. Um, I'll extend that by about another 16 or something, or maybe even 32. As it because the layers are shiftable along the X, fully shiftable. So because when you draw a raster rewrite buffer layer, when you use the go to X, you tell it to go back to a particular layer, to a particular X position. So what's happening here is the the base uh, the base layer is shifted so far over that when I set that layer back to 0, it shifted over by 10, it's by 16. So when I set the raster rewrite to go back to 0, that 0 is actually off screen. Uh, so that's what's happening here, which is cool because it means it behaves just like sprites really. So the system works really really well once you've got it set up. I honestly don't see the use of hardware sprites for very much of it. I'm going to use them for head-up display, maybe some kind of pop-ups or something like that, but I'm not going to use them for in-game. There's just no point. They're just not as powerful. Other than the fact that they're hardware composited, they're not really. I mean, the raster rewrite buffer sprites are almost hardware composited because you or rain, snow, yeah, maybe. But even that, I mean, would the raster rewrite buffer would probably still do a better job at that as well. Um, uh, BG Bitty. Well, trust me, they're all safe backgrounds. So yeah, I'm definitely going to add that timer in the corner because otherwise you don't know when it's ready. Okay. On that note, let's put the sprite back in the middle. I think when I've had this can, I'm gonna grab. I've got some really nice strawberry and watermelon um, fizzy drink and PG Billy Piper. Damn it! How did you know? No, it's no Billy Piper there. Sorry. I will tell you if you mention one on here, just for tonight. If you mention one that is there, I will let you know. But otherwise, I I'm just gonna ignore them, and next time I will put the counter in the top corner. So you'll know if you say it while the counter's still ticking down. It could be right, could be wrong. It won't tell you. And I'll add another 50 or so before tomorrow. So bear in mind when you do request one, it may not be there tonight, but I may end up putting it on next time because I will be looking at the sort of things you guys type. So, um, oh, I believe Mr. G. I believe that one is there. So, okay, right. Oh, where's my main file gone? There we go. Okay, so let me recompile that. Should be in the middle again now. Okay, so because of the way the raster rewrite buffer works, the control layer is not going to be contiguous in memory, right? So the control layer is going to be interleaved with the other layers. So what we need to do is the first thing we need to do is we need to work out which row we're on. Even in create ID created, we need to work out which row we're on, and we'll do that by taking the y value that we've created here plus the current Y position for the scroll. So you can see we've already got the Y position at the bottom. You can see in the HUD, in the debug layer, I'm right in the Y position there. So we know that's our character row, and then we need to add a scroll position in there as well. So let's have a think about this. So to get the Y row uh, memory location. Uh, well, actually, we start with getting the Y row. Convert Y row to memory location. All right. So to get the Y row, what do we need to do? So we need to take our get the map. Let's do it here. So that is going to be the map Y position. Um, I missed that one. Which is already in character space, so we can see is 0f at the moment. Then we need to add all of these values here. So we need to get our Y point from above. But this needs to be divided by 8. This needs to be and this needs to be floored as well. So this will be ABS. In fact, let me do it using mathematics rather than pseudocode. But before we do that, we also need to add or subtract our find scroll position. So if we look in layers, which I think is where it will be getting the map position from, we should find where is it now? I can't remember where the hell it is now. Yes, so we have layer X, layer Y, and layer X fine and layer Y fine. And then we have a control layer number here. So the control layer tells us which layer is the one that is basically linked to the controls. So this is the one that if we move, everything else moves uh, in a kind of relatively to it. So rather than scroll each layer individually, we just say position the foreground, and the backgrounds are all positioned relatively to that. So that means we need to take this value, use that as an index into here to get our layer Y, which we're already getting with the Y pos, and then do the same for fine. Now the layer fine, I think, increases as we go down. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to set this. So let's have a look where we're using the debug panel update. Okay, debug panel update. Here we go. Wait, are we just? Oh, this is just updating the whole panel, isn't it? Right. So we actually need to set the values in it. Where's our macros for this then? Probably got a macro in here. Debug text. Yeah. Okay, let's find out where that's being called from. Okay. Maybe I need to open more files here. Oh, is it this print hex? I think it's this print hex, isn't it? So here you go. See, we use this to grab the layer control number. So I think if I do the same, have I got enough characters? I can't remember how many characters I've got down there. But it's going to be 3 per sprites, which is and there's 8 sprites, so 24. Well, that's 58 about. I'm not sure what this 58 is about. Hang on. I don't remember everything I've done. Index for string size. Oh, this is indexed through these. Okay, so that's the bottom row. So I'm just going to do it above it. So if I take 24 off that, then that would be 34. So if I do 34 here and do Y fine like that and just subtract 1, there we go. and then do this layer Y fine. Hopefully now that should give us the fine value there. Again, this control system completely needs replacing. This is just a temporary thing. 58 equals 1. No, it's the offset into this this basically display grid. So we've got 3 rows of 24 pixels. So. Just run. Why is that not running? Or if I done wrong? Oh, branch too much. Okay. Where was that again? Right, done. And that was set. Oh, that was control. It's line 70. Okay. Cool thing about Mega65 is you can do that. You can just use a long branch. Really nice trick to avoid having to do that stupid thing you normally have to do where you have to reverse the condition and large bra. Yeah. It actually means that may as well just be a jump now. Okay, what did I do? All right, set the Y fine. Okay, see, there we go. So, okay, so it's not reading the fine value; it's reading the. Wait, what is it doing? It's doing something very odd. Okay, let's just go and check those. Okay, so I've only done the backwards one here. Not okay. So I need to do Y fine. Wait, why is that 34 there and then? Why is that 34 there? I don't get that. That should be 58 here as well. That's why. Okay, then this should be Wi-Fi here, right? And that needs to be also be done in here as well. And it should be store. It should be load. There we go. Right, that should hopefully do it now. How's everyone getting on with the game coding stuff? I know it's only been a couple of days, but I'm always intrigued to know if people are finding it okay. Because it's starting tomorrow. Oh, so you're doing something as well, Andy. Cool. Because the thing with these competitions, the game kind of competitions, it's more of a um it's more of a prize draw really. So it doesn't have to be amazing, but obviously whatever you create will be shared with the Mega65 community and will be used for testing the devices and making sure everything's working hunky dory for the various things that go on, and they'll probably be shared quite a lot on the videos and things. So it's not so much a competition this month, so it's alternate months. So we do like the challenges on the odd numbers months. We've had the spiral and the kaleidoscope. The game competition is really just create something in the target language. So we did basic first. This time it's 45 GSO2, and anybody who creates something that can be deemed a game. It can be as small or as kind of expansive as you want. Get put in a prize draw for a chance to win the Mega65. Further, I've got 2 more here. So this is Stoker's. Stoker one in a black one, so that's ready to go now. I've refined the design again, so the switch is now a bit smaller, but it is a bit sturdier now. It's easier for me to print. I hate the spiral. It's all right. He will be struck down. Um, and then this is the one for Proud 7 that I'll be sending soon. So these are done now, and I will be shipping these out probably early next week. I just need to put the software on them. So But yeah, they're ready to go now. But yeah, they're nice little cases. They're good. So um, they've got the little. I'm really proud of the Switch. The design for the Switch has taken me so many iterations to get it right, because it has to be printed in as one piece. So it means you can take it apart and the Switch won't fall off. It's actually in there. It's stuck in there, because it's printed in place. It's printed. Uh, to any game for the Mega 65. Yeah, you can code whatever you want. It just has to be in 45 GSO2 and it has to run on the emulator. But the emulator is more than capable, as Magic Eric showed recently with the Another World demo, which is done completely using the X emulator. I mean, it's running on a kind of Another World virtual machine, if you like. But it just goes to show you can still make some freaking amazing stuff. So uh, I'm very well lit from side to side. I've got better lighting today. Yeah, I had to improve my lighting a little bit to make the green screen work properly. So, um, is it using a newer build? You can use the latest Hernand Vic 4 branch of the XEMU. The ROM doesn't matter at all because you're probably going to turn that off. There's not really much you would want to use in the kernel. So just don't worry about the ROM version, just as long as you're using the latest Hanan P Vic 4 branch. Um, it should be fine. There's only a few things not working. I think we covered some of the things on the last stream. I'll do a little bit more tomorrow of showing things. So if anybody's got any questions actually regarding the Mega 65, send them me via private message on Discord before the stream tomorrow, and I'll make sure that I cover them. I'll also take questions on stream, but I'll prioritize any that I get before the stream, and I'll try and cover as much as I can. Yeah, the Another World thing is really cool. Yeah. Um, I think the cool thing is because he's been working on it for so long on other platforms, C64. He's got he understands a virtual machine and how to make it all work. Really, it's just a matter of porting the code from 6510 to 45 GSO2, which, as we know, is going to be quite simple. Changing the graphics routines, which he's been working on, as you can see, he's got them working as well, and then the game can be ready relatively quickly. So I think we're probably only about a month away from having that game complete. So how much time do we have on the game? The whole month. So the stream will be the 1st of May. I think it's the 1st of May. Yeah, the stream is on the 1st of May, so you've got till the third last day of the month. Just hand it in. So yeah. For general Mega 65 questions, I'll be available tomorrow. Oh, cool. Thank you, Anton. Appreciated. Someone discovered one. Oh, it was someone bought it. Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm in Minecraft. Whoa. So I thought being able to spend shimmer shillings to discover them was quite a neat idea, but I have limited it so it doesn't get abused. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can create because you did such an amazing job with the basic games. Actually, you blew me away with the basic games. I was not expecting that kind of quality. It was very impressive. I can't wait to see what you guys do with the assembly as well, with all that power. Um, I mean, obviously, it's a bit more kind of time consuming to do something um, in assembly than it is in basic. But I think we're all kind of familiar enough with assembly that should be able to create something kind of cool. Certainly, I think Zendar was talking about potentially porting his game as well. So I mean, that's another option if you've got a C64 game that you want to port. It's probably not that difficult port it to the Mega65. Okay, so I'm just trying to work out why I haven't got the right fine value for Y. So I'm just gonna go and check in. That's the rewrite buffer. No, is it this one? No, animation. Sorry. Sorry, I'm a bit slow tonight. I'm struggling to kind of to get back up to speed, but we'll do two streams back to back should help that quite a bit. So layer Y fine plus control layer number. Okay, so this value should be correct. Layer Y fine plus control layer number. And that should be on that line there. Okay. But that's not what I'm seeing unless I'm... Huh. Because this layer is all working, but the Y fine layer is not working. Okay, it's time to look at that location in memory and see what's going on. Well, let's start by looking at the control and see what's happening here. So we do actually store that value here, which means I could actually probably just, uh, yeah, let's just get rid of this actually. Oh, you're not overwriting it. I don't think so. I just want to make sure that those values are restored as well. I just want to make sure that that print hex isn't destroying that value, as it very well could be. Where's my print hex? Oh no, we restore the values at the end. Okay, so we're nice and friendly with the debug panel, which is good because it kind of makes sense actually. 99 uses, yeah, because one is if you're going up, and one is for if you're going down. It's if it changes. So, no, Vancouver is not one yet. So, okay, I'll quickly explain for doctors. So I've added a green screen behind me, and BG allows you to change my background. Except I don't tell you what the backgrounds are. You have to either spend shimmer shillings to discover one, and it will tell you the name of it, or you can kind of guess based on what's already been revealed, kind of what the other ones might be. There's currently 70 backgrounds. I will be adding more over time. And if you're subscribed through Twitch or through Patreon, you can send me an image, and I will save it as your name, so you'll be able to do BG and your name. So in your case, you'll be able to do BG docs to me, and it would show the background that you've picked. Obviously, I will be making sure that they're TOS safe. They have to be Twitch safe, or else I can't do it. So you can't just make a background out of loads of penises or bitties. It's on a 3-minute cooldown as well. So if somebody guesses, you can't guess again for 3 minutes. You can try and guess, but it won't reveal whether it is or not. I'm going to add a timer. In the meantime, I will tell you if you said one that is a background, and you just happen to have not got it because the timer was still running. If I can remember most of them anyway. So basically a blank screen now. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's see. This should be fine. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why that value is not printing correct. It seems to, because it seems to go 0E when I go up and 00 when I go down, which implies it's at the edge of the boundaries, but it's not. It's not actually giving me a Y fine value. But there is definitely some fine scrolling going on here, or is there? Am I just going so? There's a bit of a glitch at the top as well. I think there's an IRQ problem. I think it's because of the number of layers, but I'm going to reduce that anyway. Y scrolling is a pain in the ass. But no, I'm going quite fine here, and it's still okay. Let's just run this again. Not getting very far with this tonight, but it's fine. It's fine. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get back up to speed. Yeah, it's still 0 or E. So it's E if I go up, it's 0 if I go down. So which implies this is probably not the right find value. So let's go and have a quick look at layers and how these are drawn. So this is the repositioned layers. Where's the layer Y find? See, there isn't interesting. And this is because actually the layers themselves don't get repositioned based on the Y. That's actually to do with the um yeah, 3 minutes between SEOs. Things like I did it to avoid spam as well, so I'm completely aware. Oh, thank you for the follow, NPM Stephen. I missed that, and thank you for the host as well, Sinlo. Very much appreciated. Cheers. Spam, spam, spam beans. Oh, you've given me more ideas for backgrounds there. Okay. Do you know what? I'm going to end up watching this stream chat back and getting some ideas for backgrounds tomorrow. I can just see it happening. Hey, Game. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so the layers when they draw have the Y offset in when it's actually drawn in here. They actually do the Y offset in the. Actually, do they do the Y offset like that? No, not for the layers. They don't actually. So how am I doing the Y positioning? No, I am doing way. I'm setting the screen. Okay, so I'm setting the screen position as a whole based on the control layer Y fine. But for some reason, this layer Y fine is not updating as smoothly as I was hoping it would. It's either 0 or E. It doesn't seem to be anywhere in between. We're adding 2 to layer fine, and we're just looping it as it goes round. Okay. So we're okay. I can see what's the problem here. So the problem is we're only updating that value when we actually cross the boundary instead of updating it here, which is where it should be updated. Because otherwise, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, don't update, don't update. Okay, we've updated the course value, so now update the fine value. So there we go. Apologies for no problem at all. Attend when you need to attend, and if you're busy, you be busy. Finishing projects before end of March panic. Yeah. Hopefully, I've got we can announce something kind of cool tomorrow. Actually, it'll probably already be announced. Oh, there we go. Although it's doing something weird when I go up now. I think that's because I scrolled the wrong way to begin with. I haven't got any boundaries on, so. Oh, it was redeemed. Okay, there you go. There you go. So yeah, you can see there are some patterns. I've tried to create some patterns in there as well. So I may as well. I'll tell you one pattern now. I've tried to put as many Star Trek bridges as I can into the uh, into the list. So Star Trek and then the name of the show should give you a bridge. But I'm not going to tell you exactly what the names are, but you get the kind of idea from that. So you can see the name there. You can put spaces in. That's absolutely fine. So you can see the name in quotes there, Star Trek Voyager. So you could do Star Space Trek Space Voyager, and that would accept that. But that's the actual name it's looking for. But it just removes spaces when you. It's the same string kind of management as the quizzes. But yeah, there you go. There's the Voyager bridge. Okay, so we do have fine values now. Okay, the up is a bit weird. And I think this is probably because of the flags here. So I think we might just need to do this. But I'm going to do that in the print hex because I think something's clearing the flag in here for whatever reason. It's probably this. That's two groups offended. Well, you're also kind of on the right lines with Star Wars, but I'm not going to tell you. There are some Star Wars pictures in there, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. You have to work that one out as well. No Red Dwarf yet, but good call on the show. Definitely need to add some of that in. This is the only night I'm going to give you clues. This is the only night I'm going to give you clues. Never tell Shalon a secret. No. Okay, so we've got a find value now. So let's take a look at how the find value changes. So it goes up as we move down the screen. So it is in lines with the value as we go, with the course value as we go down the screen. So both numbers go up as we go down, which is good. Cool. That's all I wanted to know. So all that was just to do that. So that gives us this point here. So we would do y point plus y fine. Now, would it be y point plus y fine? Let's think about that. No, it wouldn't actually. It would be minus y fine. And the reason it would be minus y fine is because we've got the point in screen space where there is that many fine pixels missing from the top. So we need to subtract them to shift the kind of the point back a little bit. Oh, thank you for the bits, Anton. Very much appreciated. Cheers, my man. Um, I think that's right. Hang on. No, no, no. It would be plus. What am I talking about? It would be plus. Because if you were at 0, 0 and the map was at 0, 5, then it's 0, 0. If the map is now scrolled by 1, then our 0, 0 is now actually at 0, 1. So it is plus y fine. So we need to add these two values together, divide them by 8 to get the character position, and add the map y position. Okay, so this is our char row, and that equals this value. Okay, so let's start by, so this is just a number in memory. That's easy to get. This is a number. Okay, so we will need to. Oh, why is there an ABS here? It shouldn't be. It should be floor, shouldn't it? Which will automatically be. So this will be PT Nightwish, Another World. Nope, nope, and nope. Sorry, no Nightwish. No, I should have done that actually. It's a good call on that. Okay, so floor and divided by 8 is basically just shifting. That's easy to do. So we need to get these two values and add them together first. So start by clearing the flag. Let's load the accumulator with layers, layer Y, fine. Okay, and we can add, and this is where we need this value here. So I'm actually going to store this. I'm just going to call it Y point. Like so I'm just going to do that here. So again, the reason I do a 16-bit number here, even though it's immediate mode, is because this beef tells me it's a self mod. It's even more obvious because it's got this label in front of it, but I'd like to keep it there anyway. And the thing is if the assembler sees an immediate value, it basically ignores the top byte. So basically, it's going to look like that when it assembles that. But I just put the whole thing in, so I know when I see the word beef, I know it's I know it's self mod. So there you go. That's that value taken from here. So we've got the Y point sorted, and that's this bit now sorted. So we've done that. And now we need to do floor divided by 8. So that's pretty easy. We're just going to arithmetic shift, no, sorry, logical shift right, logical shift right, logical shift right. That's divided by 8. Super simple. Carry flag could have been set by these. So we're going to clear the carry bit again here. And now we need to add this value here, the map ypos. And that comes from, oh, this needs to be plus control layer number. Is it from animations? Why is it in animations? It should not be here. That should be in layers. Hopefully it is in layers. Control layer number. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is a value that's calculated at assemble time, and the way it's calculated is whenever you load in the layer config in here. This config file defines all the layers, which is a control layer. You can see here, this last layer here is a control layer. And so it sets that variable to be a particular number. These are all macros. And that will set that layer control number up here to be a particular number, and then you can use it throughout the code. And this avoids having to do like indexed addressing and things like that. Makes it nice and quick. So same here, we need layers dot layer y plus, and there we go. This should give us now a y row, a number that we can actually probably store that on the bottom there to see the exact position that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can just copy the kind of code from here basically, but we're going to do this. So these are just debug. These will, once the debug is turned off, these will not happen. So for now, whenever debug is turned on, we will see that panel at the bottom, and we can write stuff in it as well. So if I just take 24 off this, that gives us 9, and then this would be y row. So let's just do it like that, do 10. So this is going to give us the row that the head is currently at. So we can probably just about work out if that's correct just by looking when I run this now. I shall take a short break in a second, and when I come back, I'll bring a glass and my Kraken. Christmas music on the way. It's freaking April, man. Okay, so there is a problem here because it's saying the Y row is at 0 data. It might just be because we've not calculated yet, but no, it's matching. See how it's matching that value? It's because we're not adding the values together here. So this is divided by 8, so this should be added here, and that should be our entire value. Okay, let's try that again. I thought Death Star was 1. Maybe the timer's not up. I could have sworn Death Star was 1. I will check that in a minute. Okay, there we go. So you can see if I go up to the top, so we're now at map position 0. It shouldn't matter about the space. It really shouldn't matter about the space at all. In fact, I can check this off screen here. So, oh no, you can see some then. Damn it, only some though. Outrun music. I like this music. Should have known that was going to happen. Yeah, Death Star should work. I'm just going to try it now myself. That should work. Maybe it's not in the list yet, but it should. It's there, but I thought it was. I don't know. Maybe it's not picking up for some reason. Try it without the space, I guess. Anyway, all right. I'm going to take a quick break. It looks like this is correct now. Let me just actually scroll this down so we're right on the edge. Right there we go. So our Y position is at 5, and if we look at the rows of characters here, we've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's kind of hard to count actually. Does that look like we are 16 rows ahead? It doesn't actually. Yeah, that's what we're seeing there. Okay. Oh, the fine. One thing to note is that the fine value is double as well. Oh, and actually it goes backwards in some cases. Oh, because it gets reset as it goes around, but it is double. So it needs halving first. So this value here should be halved first. And that's because there are 2 raster lines per line of pixels in 320 by 200 mode. It's what allows us to do so much kind of processing on the raster rebyte, but it gives us so many layers basically. Yeah, it does seem to just be adding 1 0 to the thing. All right, I'm going to go for a quick break. When I come back, we'll. Amazing. Yeah, so I'll go for a quick break. I'll leave you with that beautiful image, and I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Right, I'm back. Turrican one, nice. Stop the break. There we go. So I have made a note here because Mad Beagle did say it to put a clear bit there. So he's catching up with the AMK points now. Another 5 there for working that one out. I noticed it just as I went for a break, so thank you for that. Andy still has the best single. Oh, come on. Seriously? I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I think it's One Man and His Droid. I mean, it's a classic. Coding by proxy. You're doing a good job as well. You're doing a good job. No, the music, not the game. Yeah, I guess that's the same for most people. All right, so why are we getting the wrong number here? Okay, so we're taking this number, we're adding our Y point, which is an offset. Let's just double check that that Y point is correct. So we're getting it from the Y. That's coming from here. In here, that is 0. So we're passing in 0. So actually, this value is kind of irrelevant at this point. So this should be adding 0 here. It looks like it should be adding 0. To the fine value. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Are we just doing... Oh, to the Y point value. Okay, so the Y pos. So with Y pos, we'd already set up here, which is 80. So we're taking the value 80, we're adding 0 to it, which is what? Yeah, which is this here. Okay, cool. So the value is 80 at this point. We're going to shift it to the right 3 times. That goes 40, 20, 10. 1-0 is indeed the correct position. We're not counting the top border. That's the problem. So if I put this at 0 here, let's go and have a look. I need to figure out where the top border starts now. Man, did this spam its ability? It's perfectly possible. It's all completely random, and Mayhem has the biggest chance of So it's completely off screen at this point. Um, Mayhem has the biggest chance of firing his ability, so it's very possible. So it's set in a position of 3-0, and I'm hoping it's just inside the top of the screen at that point. Okay, it's a little bit. It's already kind of inside the screen, so I think it's probably 2-0. Let's try that. If that's not it, then it's 2-8. And then I'll make a note somewhere of how big that border is, so I don't have to figure this out again. Oh no, okay, so it's 2-8, I think. So we need to subtract that value from this value here before we divide by 8, or we need to subtract 5 at the end. I think I'll subtract it here because that makes the most sense. So I know this seems a bit wrong that I'm doing this carry setting like this, and kind of is right though. That's the problem. Actually, I'm going to make that a constant here. So uh, actually, it's animation top border, isn't it? Rather than let's call it animation top border. This is left border, and it's really warm in here. My balcony door broke today, so I'm actually roasting in this room, and I can't do anything about it other than turn this fan on and just move the hot air quicker. Okay, I'll tell you what I am going to do though, because I've got a nice cold Fanta here, and I've got some Kraken. So it's going to get. I've not got a lot of this bottle left, but I've got another whole bottle up there. So let's get some Kraken on the go. Star Trek Defiant. No, Defiant isn't there, but it could be worth trying the TV show itself. So that is one, but because you've already tried the countdown cooldown is on. Try that again in 3 minutes and it'll work, or it should work anyway. And I should have done the define, but I didn't. I did something else instead for that one. There you go. Wait, how did the? Oh, it was already ticking down. Yeah, there you go. So it's just a picture of DS9. Yeah. Which actually fits quite well with me on the thing. So, okay, so I've got 3 drinks on the go now. So that's finished. So that's 2. Okay. Hint is a hint. Yeah. I'm gonna add a few more in tomorrow, I think, and I'll keep adding a couple in. And like I say, if you want a particular one for yourself, just send me it in a private message. Um, oh, the popping. No, I haven't actually edited that. I'm not sure why it's popping on that video though, because it really shouldn't be. Um, there's no audio from that video, so it must be something else weird going on. I'll have to listen to it back. I'll make a note of that actually and try it out. So it's the BRB spiral, right? Don't know where my pen is. I've got fresh ones here. Yeah, I don't know why that's doing that. There shouldn't be any audio at all on that video. But maybe I accidentally left it in. Okay, so let's take a look now. So we are taking the fine value. We are halving that because the fine value goes from 0. Oh, actually, is that correct? Maybe that is correct. 0 to 16. Huh. Just trying to think from in terms of tiles. Is the course value tiles or is it rows? So if it's tiles, then it's not extra easy stream. It's because I didn't do a stream yesterday, so I'm making up for it tonight. I had some other stuff going on that I had to deal with, so uh, but you can think of it as an Easter stream, sure. Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Egg Day. Or as most adults know it, happy long weekend off work. But hey, Chromos, welcome. Oh, Airwolf, that would be a good one. Okay. Now I'm see. This is why I need to do this more often. I need to figure out now the layers per row or per tile. I think they're per tile. Actually, it would make sense because there's no real need to draw a layer because a char's gonna screen because you can scroll. You can move the whole screen more than just 8 pixels. So the Y put is at 0D here. 0E. 0E. Yeah, it is its tiles. Okay, so that complicates things a little bit. Okay. So let's go back here and have a look at what we're doing here. So the map Y position times 2 is actually the row position. Y point plus Y fine, and that shouldn't be divided by 2, even though I didn't put that in here. Because now Y fine goes from 0 to 16, which is correct. The easiest way to add this in twice is just to add it twice. Do I need to clear the carry bit here? The thing with the carries here is I'm not even sure half of these need to happen because of the positions that are going to be there. So fucking Christmas tunes, Jesus. Okay, let's have a look at this. So let's start from the beginning again. So we've got the Y point plus Y fine. So this is our fine, which means we don't need that one there. We add the Y point in. Which is the value from up here, which is our offset and our sprite position. Okay, and that gives us our fine position within the screen area. Then we subtract the top border amount, which is 28, and then divide that whole thing by 8. Okay, so this now gives us our sprite position within the layer within the screen confines in character space. So if I was to just get rid of this now, uh, hopefully what we should see in Y row down there in the debug is 0. That's what we should see because we're at the right position here. Animation top border, really? Oh god, this is the other thing as well. These need to be labels. It has a serious. I think it's to do with the way the passes work in the debug in the assembler. They won't read. Oh, maybe it's to do with that because that's an error, isn't it? Star Trek Bird of Prey. No, good shout. That's a good one. Oh, what's that one? Star Trek Enterprise. Oh yeah, this is from the reboot that they did with dude from Quantum Leap. I mean, that one could have been guessed as well, really. Scott Bakula, that's the one. Okay, okay, that works. So you can see now the Y row is 0. So hopefully, if I move this down the screen by 8 pixels, it should now be at 0, 1. I did earlier, but I think it was still in count. Yeah, that's why I need to do the countdown at the top. What I'll do is I'll add the countdown in the top corner, make it flash or something when you make a guess. If you make a guess while it's still timing, I'll make it flash. Maybe even flash red if it's not there and green if it is. No, because then you can start spamming it for answers. Okay, so 1, and this should flick between 1 and 2, yeah, because it's taking the scroll into account as it moves. But it should stay pretty much 1, 2. Okay, cool. So let's put it back to where it was, which is 8, 0. So this should now be 28. So this would be 5, 10, 11 characters down the screen is what we should hopefully see here now. Good night, Quadrisaur. Yeah, a little bit slow progress tonight, but it's all good. We're getting into the flow of it, ready for tomorrow. I'm going to do this all tomorrow. But I will actually no, I will do. Sorry, I will do half of the stream with this, and then in the second half of the stream, or no, I'll do the first half of the stream. We'll go through some questions, and do some more of the kind of basics, and then in the second half, I'll carry on with this. Okay, so 0B, that's good. So it's, yeah, position 11. You can see it's just flicking between the two. And the reason it's flicking between the two is because when the sprite is static and the screen is moving, your position in screen space is actually going to hover over the border now and again. So that's fine. So those are the correct values I would expect. And then we need to add these two here. Now, I don't think I need to clear the carry bit between these because I don't think this will ever be the result of this will ever overflow. Because at this point, we just have a value that's in screen space. So at this point, we have a value from 0 to 25. This is the Y position of the entire layer. So I don't think this is ever going to be in tiles. I don't think this is ever going to overflow. So I'm going to leave that, not put that in. Okay, so now this should show our screen position plus our Y pos position, which is going to be 22. Or thereabouts. If I move down to 0B, it will be 22. So it depends. So it'll be 11 on top of wherever I'm at the moment. No, 11 double what I'm at. So I'm at 13. So double 13 is 26, plus 11 is 37, and that is 37. So that's perfect. Okay. So this is row 37 in memory. Okay. So the next job is to convert this Y row into a value in memory. this is the tricky bit now. So the layer system does actually have um, some hard-coded values in here somewhere. Where is it? Try to remember where I put it now. Layer X fine. Previous layer, no. Layer offsets. Here we go. So this is kind of confusingly calculated, but what this does is it creates a word value for each layer, and that word value is how far through each layer um, the raster rewrite buffer layer begins. So how far through, sorry, each row each layer begins. So layer 0 will be at 0 byte 0, layer 2 may be at byte 40, layer 3 may be at byte 80, and so on and so on, and it will create an offset list here. It's just one offset because it only needs to do it for one row. All the rows are symmetric, aligned. So if it's 80 on one row, it'll be 80 on the next row, and so on and so on. So we just need this value here, and that's easy enough to get. So it's layer offsets in layers. So it's layers.layer offsets. So first, get the layer offset for control layer. So we can actually read this directly. We don't need to calculate this because it's layers.layer offsets, because we have this control layer number already, and this is a hard-coded value. It doesn't need to be calculated. So all I need to really do is times this by 2. I mean, it should do this anyway, but I always put the extra brackets in just because I don't trust Kick. I'm sure I've been burnt once or twice by it, so I just put them in all the time now. But normally in maths, you would not bother doing that because the multiplication would happen first. But yeah. Oh, that should have worked, I believe. Maybe the timers are not working, but I think I need some feedback in my panel so I can see if they're not working. So that should have worked. I need to add some stuff in. Let me just double check that is actually in there. I mean, it says Star Trek Next Generation, but it still should have found it. It should have removed the word the. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, that try Star Trek Next Generation. It's because there's in the middle. I need to change the filter slightly for that to remove the word of the from anywhere. Or maybe I need to change. I think I need to change the image to be the Next Generation. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it. It's just what. No, just that's fine. Just leave it. Whatever. I should rename that one, but it is Star Trek Next Generation, so it is the Next Generation. I get that, but yeah, my bad. No, we had. I can't remember which one we had now. Voyager, that was it. Yeah. Okay, first get the layers right. So this gives us our layer offset LSB, and this is our MSB. I'm just gonna. Oh my god, why am I doing the wrong thing? Pressing the wrong buttons all the time. There we go. Right, so this is LSB and MSB, but these need to be added to something, and that number needs to also come from the layers. So there is, or there should be, and if there isn't, I need to make it a way to grab a row offset. I think it's a table. There should be a table somewhere for this, I think. And if there's not, I need to make it. Oh, I don't think there is. Uh, yeah, it's not. It's going through it one at a time. All right, fair enough. So we need to make a table for those as well, which should be part of layers. Uh, just double check. That seems a bit odd that I haven't put that in. Create new layer. Right, so there are macros for creating stuff. Draw layer setup. Okay, that's our multiplication routine. Layer offsets. I would have thought it would have been. Oh, layer lookups. Here we go. Thought it would be. So we've got layer width and layer lookup. So layer width is oh, it just tells you how many bytes are in each layer. Um, layer lookups is a double word, and this gives us the actual position in memory of the start of that particular layer. Sorry, that particular. Oh, actually, is this number of layers? Oh no, that's not. That's the layer data itself, which isn't the same. Row starts. There we go. So this is row start. So this is what we need. This gives us the actual location in memory for each screen row. So this is actually an offset from the beginning of screen RAM. So that means what we need to do is we need to work out where screen RAM is first of all. Now that should be in the config. You define that in the config here. Screen base. There we go. And we need to set up the 32-bit zero page vector. So we start by taking this value in screen base and storing this into various locations in memory. So first of all, we need to get the lower byte. It's got the freaking English keyboard suddenly turned on. So we need to take that value, we need to store that at. Now, there is already in zero page a screen RAM pointer, which is what we'll use for this, because it's exactly what it's for. Probably should be zp dot. Yeah, okay. We need three of these. So we need the LSB, the MSB, and then we need this one, which I have to do like this. F. I think this needs a new thing. This seems to be the one that Acme uses. So it'd be good to have that in Kick Assembler as well. Oh, who picked that one? Oh, it was a discovered one. Fire that guy behind me. This is from the TV show The Office. Yeah, I think that's Stanley in the background. So this is where they do the interviews. It's that bit there. Thank you, Medi9801 for the follow. Appreciated. Cheers. I was waiting for someone to do that because I've not seen this one yet. That was cool. I shouldn't have the seat behind me though. I should just be like looking at the camera going, how many followers do I have? Oh, I don't know. I've got a lot of bots though, and I went through a stage where I think there was two streams where we got invaded by bots. 8,314. So there's probably at least a couple of thousand of them are bots as well. The mighty Shalom bot, yeah. It's weird. I told Twitch about it, and they just said, "Meh." Okay, fair enough. Oh, PlayStation game. Okay, good luck. Okay, so we set that 0 page vector up. We don't need to set the upper one up with the third byte because it's already going to have been set previously. This is why you reusing this value is good because it's always going to be 0 anyway. But it will have previously been set. So that's good. We've got that value set up. So this is our screen base. Now we need to add the screen row. Screen row start. So this is a 16-bit value. Let's put 16-bit in brackets there. And that screen row value needs to come from this value here. So at this point, we can reuse the actually, we're using X to do all this. So we should probably keep X. Let's put it in Y. So we'll transfer that to Y. This makes sense because this is our Y row. Okay, so at this point now we need to load layers.row starts, comma, Y. Actually, they're words, so I need to double that value. So I'm going to double. Oh, but this is screen row now. This is not map row. Which actually means we don't need to do this bit here because this is screen row, not map row. We don't care about the map row. We're reading a value from the screen. Which actually makes this way simpler. Okay, cool. We're not currently reading from the map. We may do eventually, but for now we're not. So we'll just double that value and transfer that into the accumulator, into the Y register, sorry. The reason we double it is because we need to grab these values here, which are the row starts, and we can actually do this during here. So let's do it all as part of this. So we can just add that into here like so. So if I clear the carry bit up here, and then add the upper bit up here. It's very unlikely this is going to ever overflow over here, but I am going to do that anyway. It's a very few cycles. It's definitely worth just putting that in there anyway. I've got to say, Fanta and Kraken looks horrible mixed together. And see why they mix it with Coke. Tastes nice though. But it looks like dirty paintbrush water. Captain Underpants. Okay, so that gives us the screen pointer where the row begins, and then this is our layer offset as well. So this is the value we again we still need to add this to this. Now we could try and work out how to add it in here, but then you get into the situation where you're adding two things which may set one may set a carry and the other may not, and you get into weird things where the second ad absorbs the carry and then the next value doesn't go up. So you're better off doing this separately. So we'll do this down here where we'll take these values again and we'll add these values and then put them back. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll just do the same again with the offset +1. And there we go. So our 0 page address now has the screen row start look up here. So the only thing we need to do now is we need to turn the X into something we can use, which we'd already started doing here. So we've got an X point here, which is our position across the screen this way. And this is in, well, it's in 16-bit format at the moment. But what we can do is we can just adjust this slightly to turn this into a divide by 8 thing again. So um, let's just turn that convert to X column. And how do we convert that? It's pretty easy. Char column equals, oops, that's going to be our map. Actually, it's not going to be this, is it? Because that's been taken out. So our char column will be floor x point, which is this value up here, plus x fine. I forgot to subtract border here. Subtract border divided by 8. So very similar to this, but with x positions. So unfortunately, though, it's a 9-bit value. So the easiest way to do this is going to be, first of all, to split this into two things. So this is a 16-bit value, but it's actually only using 9 bits. So the easiest way to make this an 8-bit value is to divide this by 2 first. But if we divide this by 2, then actually these need to be different as well. So we can divide the whole thing by 2 here. So if we divide by 4 instead, then we can divide all of this by 2. So this is the equivalent of doing x point was divided by 2 divided by 4, which is the same as divided by 8, right? So we're going to do this divided by 2. So it becomes x point divided by 2, x fine divided by 2, border divided by 2, divided by 4. Then that means all we have to do is work this bit out first, and that will give us an 8-bit value. And then from that point on, this bit's super easy then, instead of having to do this whole thing with a 16-bit value and kind of pass these values around. So we'll start by, first of all, shifting this value. So it's already in the accumulator, so we don't need to store it anywhere. So shift 9th bit. So there we go. We have the carry flag set now. Yep, there you go. Yeah, the word "the," unfortunately, because of the way it's using the same filtering as the quiz, so it's not removing the, so it's just giving me the enterprise. Yes, this is the enterprise, isn't it? But this is the next generation enterprise. I kind of like this BG's thing. It's good. It's good. It doesn't mean I have a massive fucking green screen. This green screen is huge, by the way. I'll have to take a picture of it off stream and show you, but it's fucking massive. I wasn't expecting it to be quite so big, but I guess it has to be to cover that area. But it's quite dominating in the back of the room. You see, there'll be no code on. Well, there'll be toys for you lot, but I'll always be coding. Okay, so we're going to shift the 9th bits, which is we're doing here, and now we need to add these bits here, and then we can do the final shift to divide by 4. So, oh, we need to shift this one as well. So we need to load that a value. So I'm going to grab this with, I'm going to call this restore LSB. Store LSB. There you go. So I'm using self mod a lot more now, partly because this label makes it a lot easier, but I'm feeling way more confident with it. I was always kind of quite confident with it anyway, but this label does make it a lot easier to deal with. I'll tell you now that there's not an awful lot of pictures in there. I mean, I don't know how many you've got already. I think you've got quite a few. Oh, you got 12. All right, there's still 58 to go, but there's not as many things as I would like to put in. You're giving me lots of ideas tonight, so don't be completely off put if something you try tonight, um, it might be there next time. So cities is one I definitely need to do more of. So wait, how did that one appear? Ah, okay. What's this one? Oh, Discovery. So this isn't the bridge. I don't know why I didn't use the bridge. I think this is the first one I put in, but it's one of the corridors from Discovery, so it's quite a boring one, really. I think you got most of the Star Trek ones now. But again, remember that none of these backgrounds, you can't bring a list up of the ones you've. I know which ones you've discovered. I can get that list, but I'm not. I'm not sharing that list with you guys. You have to. You have to kind of remember. So if you want, if you want to recreate these backgrounds again, you have to remember what the words were that brought them up. Yeah, I liked Discovery at first, but I've gone right off it now. It just got silly towards the end of the last season. I just can't be bothered with it anymore. Okay, so now I have the lower byte, so now I can roll that. Right, okay, so now I've done this divided by 2. Now I need to add x fine divided by 2. So to do that, I need to take this number and divide it by 2. So this would be dividing that number by 2. And then I need to add this number from here. So just going to call it half x point. Again, self mod. I know people are cringing about me using self mod, but honestly, it's a lot easier once you've got these labels in like this. Okay, so now I have this plus this, and now I need to subtract border by 2. Right, okay, so the borders are the easy one. I do need to set the clarifier, but this is already this is a hard-coded constant, so uh, and watch the third season. The first half of the third season was really not bad. It started off all right. It seemed promising, and then it just went weird and stupid. Um, and it annoys me because season one was ups and downs and ended quite interesting. The twist at the end of season one was kind of cool, but the problem was it was such a painful experience to get to that. It didn't. The payoff wasn't enough. I don't think. Season two was just a complete miss, really. Um, the whole fucking angel suit or whatever it was just it was such a shit story. I wish they'd stop focusing on Commander Burnham because I mean I don't want to discredit her too much, but I don't. I think she's got like one face that she can pull. This kind of look of confusion, and it's irritating. Um, and then the third season started okay, but it just got terrible. So she's an amazing woman. Oh, woman. It's just I don't know. I don't find her a very interesting character. I think I don't think she's that great an actor in that particular role. She's probably good in other stuff. I mean, she's been picked for a reason, right? But I think in this role, she's always looking confused, and I don't know if she's been told to do that because she's been brought up by Vulcans, but um, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. I'm not that keen on her. Possibly, and while I'm all for diversity and stuff, I think Star Trek's been pretty good with that anyway. They don't need they don't need to go down that route. So yeah, Voyager was kind of cool. I kind of liked Voyager. I think Voyager was the last one that really kind of was cool. Enterprise was okay, but it kind of lost. Next generation, DS9, Voyager all had that same kind of science quandary of the week sort of thing. It always felt great, and the great thing is the Orville is kind of doing that again now. The Orville has got that kind of same feel to it again, which I really like. But Enterprise started to go off on its own. Like it had a weird story arc and stuff. So um, it's it started to be a bit different, but it was still bearable. But then like the latest ones are really weird. Picard's all right, but again, it's not Star Trek. It's just like a weird spin-off series. But it's I mean Picard's better than Discovery anyway. So season three. Which is season three the new season? I can't remember which season I've just watched. No, Discovery really didn't care about lore. They kind of went off on their own little mission, didn't they? Um, Spore Drive really annoyed me. I mean, the concept of having a ship so powerful that people 1,000 years in the future still didn't have a drive of the same ability to instantly teleport anywhere in the it just it's stupid. It's a really really stupid thing. Is season three out already of Orville? Or is that the next one that we're waiting on? I can't remember which one I've just watched. Okay. Meanwhile, let's carry on with this. So subtract the animation left border. Yep. So that now gives us the accumulator now contains this section here. So now I just need to divide it by 4. So logical shift right, logical right. Now I now have the X column in here. At which point we are down here, and I can say load Y with X column, which could be beef. And you can see how using these self mods makes it super super easy. Um, and actually works quite well with this labeling system. There we go. You could argue that they needed a driver for the spore drive, which limits its usefulness. I mean, I just find it really annoying when they. I mean, sorry for spoilers if you've not watched season 3 of Discovery. Block your ears for the next 30 seconds or so. So in season 3, they obviously go 1,000 years into the future, which you should know from the end of season 2. But there's an alliance of the Federation alliance is still there, but it's kind of dispersed and stuff. And they try responding to some incidents. And the ships that are 1,000 years in the future, they've got all this kind of matter regeneration stuff like super super advanced ships. Still can't get anywhere as fast as the Discovery can because of the spore drive. So the Discovery ends up leading a few kind of search parties and things, which is it just seems ridiculously stupid to me that you've got these ships that can basically reorganize their matter and molecules at a drop of a press of a button, and yet they can't keep up with a 1,000-year-old drive. It's and nobody knows about it either. Still, I know it's kind of supposed to be secret, but yeah, it's just dumb. Just dumb, and it just gets worse as well. That's the thing. That's not even the worst thing about that season. It just gets worse. Uh, can we talk about spectrums or anything? Oh wow, yeah, Discovery's terrible, but it'll get cancelled soon, so let's not worry about that. What I want is a Star Trek that's like the Orville. The Orville is the best Star Trek show on at the moment. Okay, so we've got the column value here. So now we know how far across the screen we are. Actually, this should be Z, and the reason it needs to be Z is because now we can do the accumulator with Z be screen round pointer, comma Z, and that's actually where we are on the screen. So let me just change that to store, and let me put a value 0 in here. And hopefully what we should see is as I move around, it should be drawing a character kind of at the top left of my head, roughly, if this has worked. And it has taken me 2.5 hours to do this, but whatever. We've had a lot of discussions about this as well. So steps, you are on the right lines, but it wasn't called Star Trek the original series when it was on TV. That's just what we call it now. That's the only clue. Yeah. There you go. It's really funny how we call it Star Trek the original series, yet it was not called that when it was on TV. It would be very, very arrogant of them to call it the original series. Okay, this isn't actually drawing anything. Okay, so hmm. Okay, so I need to check what values in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print some hex into the bottom corner. So I'm going to do it here, or in the top corner actually. It's print hex, and then if I do that, let's say, there we go, 0. Okay, so this would be at 0, this would be at 2, and this would be at 4. It's really nice having that debug thing there. Yeah, Star Wars became, yeah, yeah. I mean, that was weird as well, I guess. Oh, print hex. Oh, wait, what? It is defined. Oh, okay, damn it. 'Cause I'm looking this way, by the way, because the screen's over on that side. So could be another reason I'm kind of kind of okay from this side. Uh, okay, so you can see the screen lookup address there, 055468. I mean, that seems quite high, but it's probably right actually with the number of layers that are going on here. So uh, and that's not going to change very much. It's just going to flick between two values because it's just the screen lookup address. Um, although actually looking at this, I feel like the screen row start values are probably too high here for some reason. Row starts +1, screen base, screen round pointer +1. Okay, let me take this and add that. Okay, so row starts +1. Uh, let me just grab those values. Actually, let me do it like this. Let me set these to 0. I just want to see what the row start values are because I'm a bit worried that the actually, I'll tell you what I could do. So what I'm doing here is just making sure that these values kind of correspond to proper screen addresses. Now it's not going to have it's only going to show me 16 bits of the screen address, but it should be enough to work this out. I should be able to see it in this list somewhere, probably down here, layer offset. So you can see the layers are uh, actually the layers are quite big, and this is because of the sprites as well. So let's just do our own calculations here. So we're on row 11. Actually, let's do this in programmer mode. So if we were in row 11, I should do it in hex. There we go. So we're in row 11, and we times that by 1BE. That gives us 1328. So our screen row should be round about 1328 for row 11. And we see that here it is 1328. But if you look at the bottom of the screen down there, you can see it's actually giving us a row of 055468. So our calculation is wrong somewhere. Uh, you are grumpy. Oh, was it always on the scroll? Ah, I didn't realize that it was always there on the scroll. To be fair, the first and people are going to think I'm crazy for this. The first time I actually sat down and watched Star Wars from beginning to end was when the remasters came out. I'd vaguely seen bits of it on Laserdisc when I was like 5 or 6 or something like that. But I never actually sat down and watched it. It just didn't interest me as a kid. Even though I had the figures, I really liked the figures, but I didn't really watch the film, so I didn't really know what they were. And it was only when the remasters came out that I went to the cinema and watched them all. Got into it, which is why I like Star Trek more. I think I've just kind of always been into the Star Trek. So unsubbing by. Don't me wrong, I like Star Wars. I just prefer Star Trek. But yeah, I hadn't watched them until the remasters came out properly. Like I knew of them, I knew who the characters were, and I knew like roughly the story of it and things like that. But I never actually sat down and watched it from beginning to end and understood it all uh, until that came out. So yeah, bizarre, I know, but that's how it goes. Okay, okay, so the 05 seems to work. This is correct. Um, so actually, what I'm going to do first of all, I'm just going to turn all this lot off. And I'm going to put these values in there. So let's see if it can work out the screen row correctly from these values. Uh, so again, we're looking for 1325132A at the bottom corner. So because it's a weekend and I've not got work tomorrow, I will go till round about 1:30 or something. I go a bit later. I go like an hour later than I would normally do on a Thursday. I do want to get these things working. Um, and we'll do the same. It's tomorrow. We'll go till the usual kind of till 2:30. Okay, that's because that is trying to store here. So just put that back. I'm gonna say fingers crossed tomorrow I should have an announcement to make, hopefully tomorrow. If all goes well. I think it will. Okay, so that value's right, 051328. So that is actually correct. Which means something has gone wrong in this section here. Um, because if I put that in, what I should probably see, we might not see it actually because of the position of the screen, but we might see in the on the very beginning of that row, Chance having a baby. No, 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 it's not that life changing. I'm done with that. I'm done with that shit now. That's not happening again. I mean, by all means, if you want to have children, have children. But my God, I'm not doing that again. Okay, well, it's drawing something, but it's drawing it on the wrong layer here. Oh, it's drawing it on the wrong layer because it's thinking we're on the background layer because we're not adding the foreground layer. But you can see it is actually drawing something. So it is drawing something. The reason I'm not sure actually why it's drawing that far across. That's a bit odd. It should be kind of off screen, but okay, whatever. Um, all my children got coming up printed on them. They're quite plastic too. I was lucky that I had my children quite young, so um, I'm able now to kind of enjoy. My kids are, they live kind of on their own. You know, um, doing really well. I mean, you've met Sean. Well, not met him, but you've seen him on the stream. He's a good lad. He's trying to work out his age now. I've got to get this right, or else it's embarrassing. I think he'll be 22 this year. So yeah, 22 this year. So, oops, I think that's right. Hang on. I'm really, really bad with these things. So he could be 23. I think he's 22 though. Ah, wait. 98. Oh no, he'll be 23 this year. Sorry. I know his date of birth. I had to work it out. That's the thing. Yeah, so they're old enough to do their own thing now, which is kind of cool. And I can do what I want. So bit worrying when you can't remember how old your child. I can't remember how old I am sometimes. SP. Never mind anybody else. I have to work it out. I know his year of birth, so I have to work it out. It's easy when when they're at school because you just kind of you work out your age. Yeah, I do as well. I can't remember. Like the other day, I was convinced I was 43 the other day, and I'm not. I'm 44. When it was my birthday, I was like, oh, I'm 43 now. Awesome. Not. I'm 44, which is really really depressing. I'm aging quicker than I think. Um, okay. So what is going wrong here? So okay, let's take the lower. Is it this that's wrong? Maybe this is wrong. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to put the +0 in here. Oops. Thank you for the follow, D Otis. Welcome to the stream. But no, I'm really bad. I'm really bad with dates and ages. Uh, yeah. How old will you be on your next birthday? Oh God, yeah. You can actually have to work it out. Yes, I do have to work. It's not good at all. Yeah, yeah. I stopped counting and kept celebrating birthday. Exactly. And my birthday this year was just kind of a nothing. I didn't want to really celebrate it because my last birthday was right at the start of lockdown. So I ended up having uh I had a whole kind of thing planned for my birthday and I had to cancel it all, which is really annoying. I was gonna have my kids down for the weekend and I was gonna have a kind of just a nice chilled out weekend with my kids and stuff. Nothing fancy, but I'd planned to see them, and I hadn't seen them for a couple of months before that as well. So it was like Christmas before I'd seen them, when I'd last seen them, and I haven't seen them since. So I've now had two birthdays where I've done nothing. One which had to cancel everything. I've not seen my kids in 18 months. Um, it's really really a pain in the ass. It gets me down sometimes, but it's no wonder I can't remember their ages. I've freaking missed them for like almost 2 years. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him on Twitch. Of course, I've seen him, but I mean, um, yeah. Who are you? That would be really sad, wouldn't it? Okay, this should be adding these values in. Why is this not adding these values? Layers, offsets, plus a control layer number times 2 because it's a word, so we need to grab the lower and higher byte. Okay, let's start by just adding the lower byte and see what that comes to. So our layer offset for the control layer. Our control layer is the last layer, and our layer offset is DE. So if we take DE and we add it to 132A, so plus DE, we get 1408. So we should see 514. Wait, what? Why is it 1514E8 there? Oh, because it's down a row. Okay, yeah. So yeah, there we go. That one. So it should be 1408 when I do this. Panicking then. Okay, so 1368. Okay, so it's not adding the right value here. It's adding 40 to it. Where's he getting the 40 from? None of these are 40. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D is the. Oh, it's not D, it's B2. I want to add. Because this sprite layer is on the last layer. Okay, so it's B2. So minus DE plus B2. But that's still the wrong value, 13DC. So we get 5136A. Huh. So the question is, what is this value here? So okay, I'm going to put that on the next row down here. So just going to do this here. This is just a quick debug thing. So we take that number, put that in 26, put that in 24. So this should give us the number, the row offset number, which should match these numbers here, if it's correct. It could just be getting the wrong number, in which case I need to go and have a look at what the hell it's doing. It's going to be so much better when this all just works from these Macs. This is why I'm doing all this, so you guys don't have to. Okay, so you can see there it's giving us 4140. Which incidentally is 41 is one more than 40. So it's like I don't think these numbers are right. So it's going to have a look. Layer lookups, no. Layer widths, no. It should be this thing here. Layer offsets. And these values should be set here. And they should be increasing as we go along. So these values should be correct. Layer offsets. Okay, I'll tell you what we can do. We can look at where that is in memory. 2238. We can open this. So 02, 02. Yeah, these are right. These are all correct. Okay. Maybe the control layer number's wrong. We'll check that in a second. Alex Clark Games. Thank you very much for the raid. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Friday. I don't usually do Friday evening streams, but welcome to my Friday evening stream anyway. What have you been up to tonight? With a name like Alex Clark Games, I imagine you are also a coder of some kind. Science and technology, awesome. Thank you for the shout out there, Andy. Yeah, what have you been up to? What are you coding at the moment? While you tell me that, I'll tell you what we're doing. So we're working on the Mega65, which is an up and coming recreation of the Commodore 65 prototype computer that never actually came out. And we're working in assembly, just trying to build a basic game framework to work on my game Perseus, which I'm hoping to get a fairly decent version of it running this year. Working on a VR title. Okay, cool. Siggy's Cosmic Adventures. I like the name. Working on a spline cave system. Oh, very cool. Now what are you using to do that then? Are you doing Unreal Engine or Unity or your own creation? Using a kind of out of the box framework for that. VR is something that does interest me. I did look into some Unreal Engine stuff a long time ago. Would have been about 3 years ago now, 4 years ago maybe. Whenever the first 5 came out, I can't remember when it was. And it was really kind of cool to see the stuff in there. But oh, there you go, Cyberpunk 2077. You discovered that on. Oh, it's another thing. Um, Another redemption. Thank you very much for the follow, Creative Steve 619. Very much appreciated, and cheers to you. And I'm out of cider. I need another cider. But yeah, I looked into it. Actually, one of the so at the time I was team lead for a development team, and one of my very young team member actually did some VR stuff, and that's what kind of got me interested in it. It was really cool to see. So um, thank you for the follow as well, Alice Clark Games. I will return the favor if I can. If I can do it through here, I can because I do like watching development streams. So I need to do more of it. So thank you very much for the follow. I have returned the favor, and I should be looking out for you. And I'll also return the favor with raids as well. I like to raid other developers if I can. Unfortunately, there's never really anybody on, so um, it's always good to have more in the list. Okay, so at the moment we're just trying to work out some bugs with some of the collision offsets that we're working on. I think this calculation here is for some reason um, probably not in the search results. So let's have a look in the actual collision code. So I'm just going to take this value here. Well, actually, it is definitely wrong because we're taking this value, we're adding the control layer number plus one. Oh, wait a minute. This is not reading the address. This is reading the memory location. Wait a minute. This is the problem, isn't it? Okay, so what we need to do is not that, but that. It's that simple, which means I think this is going to be fine. Let me just put this all back. Just comment that out for now. I think that's going to be fine. Let me try that. So it was taking immediate value, not the contents of the memory address. And so obviously it was going to give us the memory address plus one. So that would give us the lower bytes, which would have of course that's the problem. Okay, and there we go. 513DC, and that's kind of 13DC. It's exactly the value we wanted in here. So that's our row start. Although you can see it is close to the head actually. So maybe it is correct. Oops, hang on. So what I was trying to do was draw a character in this top left corner of the character, so we can start to work out where things are in relation to the player, and uh, it seems to be placed correctly already, which is I find a little bit odd because we haven't. Oh yeah, no, we're loading the column here. Okay, no, that's correct then. Was the column okay? Cool. I think this is fine. I think this is fine. Okay, so right, the next thing to do is to actually put a proper character in there because we're just using 0 at the moment, which is probably not the right thing to do. So let me just go and have a look at the layer config. Find out where our characters start because our character set starts. What's our tiles? Where's our? Is that the characters though? I can't remember how the characters loaded. So for those who haven't been on my channel before, I work on a few different platforms. I do Game Boy Color on Tuesdays. I do C64 and Mega65 on Thursdays and Saturdays. With Mega65 just kind of occasionally taking one of those Thursday or Saturday days. And the problem is it means when I haven't touched this code for a couple of weeks, I forget everything that I've done and I have to go looking for things. Um, yeah, take care, Alex Clark. Good to see you. I look forward to catching your videos, your VODs, and hopefully maybe one time being able to catch a live stream. Always good to see what other developers are up to. So take care. Thank you very much for the raid, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Game Boy load does not set flags. Yeah, that's a running joke with the Game Boy stuff. Mainly because keep forgetting that in Z80 the loading of a value does not set the flags. Thank you very much for the follow. If RDX, I'll call you if. Thank you very much for the follow. If appreciated. Okay, so it looks like we're loading the characters in at 1000. So that gives us an address of 0400. Oh, actually, we've got the char offset here, so you can see. There we go. I should have used that. Fair enough. Yeah. I struggle with. I mean, definitely not the hardest. Definitely not the hardest name to pronounce. I've had people from Korea come on with Korean fonts, and there's just no chance. Not that many, but it has happened. I got no chance. In which case, they will get called whatever random name I think of. The other thing we like to do on the stream is, well, I like to do. I don't know if everybody else likes to follow me with this, but is drink a lot. So I tend to drink cider and wine. Tonight I'm drinking cider and Kraken as well. I'm a lot tamer than I used to be. When I first started streaming 2 years ago or whatever it is, no, it would be closing in on 2 years actually. I would drink stupidly heavily. I mean, a bottle of wine and a couple of cans of cider is about what I'll do now. But at first I was drinking 2 bottles of wine and then ending the night on tequila and stuff. It was a mess. But surprisingly, I got some stuff done, so I still managed to get code done. I don't know how. Well, I know how. I closed one eye. That was how I did it. Uh, I do actually find I code a little bit better when I'm drinking. But as I've said many times on stream before, if it comes down to a maths problem, it's not good. Maths I have to do when I've got a straight head. I can't do it when I'm drunk. But the code is definitely it's cracking my favorite rum. It's my second favorite rum. My favorite rum is called Ron Malata, and they do a honey mash version, and you can't get it over here for anything. I don't know why I can't get it. It's a Cuban rum, and I had it in Denmark, and I've never been able to find it since. But yeah, I mean, Kraken is a very close second. But the Ron Malata honey mash stuff, I can just drink like it's Fanta. It's so easy to drink. I think it was Denmark I had it. Yeah, it was Copenhagen I had it. Um, but yeah, I do like Kraken. It's good. I've got another bottle up there as well. I've only got a little bit of this left, but I've got another bottle if I run out. Right, we've got about an hour left, so let's try and get the characters working right. So first of all, I just want to see what happens if I change the this value here. So I'm going to put 0 in that location, but I'm going to put 04 in the next location. Google Ad Services. What's this? Is this safe to click? What am I clicking on here? Yeah, I've seen that one, but it's not that one that I want. It's the honey one that they do. It's really hard to find. Um, I wish I could find. I can't remember the exact name of it. I just know it was honey something or other. Yeah, I'll know. I'm gonna have to. No, it's not on there. It's like a weird pink label. It's that label, but it's like pink instead. Uh, yeah, it is kind of an annoying label. I mean, why have they got like session IDs in the shareable? I mean, I guess if you just copy the link, it will happen, won't it? But use cookies for God's sake. I kind of wonder why they put so much stuff in URL parameters nowadays. There's really no need for it at all. You can put stuff in cookies, and you can secure the cookies as well, so you can make them HTTP only and stuff. So there's no real reason to do anything else. Yeah, that's Ron Miel, so that's different. I've had that before. That's actually quite nice as well, but it's not the same stuff. It's the same label as the last one you showed me, but it's pink. Um, I've only ever been able to find it in one place, which was in that place in Denmark. I had it at a rum bar, a special. The thing is, it was a specialist rum bar, so that's all they sold, which is probably why it's so hard to find now. But yeah, all right. So let me do this. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting the first character, which I think is a space, into memory at that location. Now remember, all character writes to screen RAM are 2 bytes, 16-bit. So we have to do two writes basically. We have to put the least significant byte and the most significant byte in. And I think 0400 will be a space character. I think by default, my scripts to pull from Asaprite will actually pull we'll create a blank character first. And no, they haven't anyway. Oh no, maybe they have. Look, you see, it is kind of creating a hole through the scenery. But then occasionally it does that. It goes a bit weird sometimes. Oh, I know what that is. That is because X column needs to be doubled. So we need to take this number uh, here, and it needs doubling. The reason it needs doubling is because the column on the screen, say we're 10 columns across. Remember what I said is 2 bytes per character. So 10 columns across is actually 20 bytes across. So just going to remove that LSR there. And I'm going to put a little note. So you say that no need for this. Oh, actually, no, let's just remove it. I'll put a note on the next line. Actually, that's probably the easiest way to do this. I still don't know where my end key is on this keyboard. It's probably the 60% keyboard. I don't know where any of the bloody shortcuts are. Oh, actually, is it that? No, that's just. Hey, that's it. All right, cool. All right, cool. Right, I know what it is now. Uh, it's double column due to 16-bit char mode. So instead of dividing by 4 at end, just divide by 2. Right, I'm trying to write lots of comments in because I'm realizing as I go through, um, I'm remembering thing. Yeah, bad news is discontinued. Oh, that's. Oh, okay. How did you find that out? Where did you find that out? Oh, god damn it! It was so nice as well. It was just like the elixir of the gods. It was so good. We went to a rum bar in Copenhagen. They've got like a. I don't know if anybody is from Denmark here and knows Copenhagen, but there's on the water, kind of halfway between kind of Christiana Freetown and kind of the main city. There's a little kind of street food market kind of place on the edge of the water. And they've got loads of little kind of nice, food places there. One of the places in there is a little rum bar right at the back, and all they sell is rum. That's all they sell. But they sell loads of kind of really, really nice, like specialist rums. And we must have spent a couple of hours there one year, just eating and just kind of trying out various foods. And we'd always go to the rum bar and get some rum, and we tried loads, and they just serve it straight. They don't give you anything with it. They serve it straight. I think you can ask for stuff with it, but they give it you as shots. And I tried quite a few. So I had like the usual ones like Diplomaticos and things like that, and they were nice. And you tend to sip them kind of slowly because they're at the end of the day they're strong kind of they're strong rums. They burn your throat like anything else would do like that. But very nice. But this rum mulata stuff, they poured it in. They give me they had quite large glasses, so like the doubles were like quadruples and stuff. But I was just necking them back. They were so delicious. I was so drunk when I came out of there. It was crazy. Definitely recommend that place, by the way. If you ever go to Copenhagen, look it up. It's a little food market on the edge of the river or canal, whatever it is in Copenhagen. There's fucking rivers everywhere in that place. Um, just probably about half a mile from Christiana Freetown towards the main city. And if you like hippie communes, Christiana Freetown is like mini Amsterdam. It's a lawless weed selling commune. It's very strange. But very strange, but a very interesting place. Uh, you're not allowed cameras in there. You're not allowed to take a car in there. Um, they they have the police don't go in there at all. It's its own. It's what do they call it? Is it an exclave or a conclave? Exclave, I think they call it. It's technically not part of Denmark. It's its own thing, even though it's in the middle. Yeah, you can do drugs in there. You can you can do whatever the hell you want in there. It's lawless. It's crazy. Uh, very interesting place. But yeah, the police don't go in there. They do hang around the exits though, because they're obviously waiting for tourists that go in there and buy weed or whatever. Um, so they hang around at the exits and probably stop people as they come out, but they won't go in. They just leave it. So, uh, cool place though. Okay, so now it's showing at the beginning of the row. Okay, so why is it not showing the right column now? That's weird. Just getting the right row now, and you see it's not showing that weird. Oh, I was doing weird there because I've gone off the edge, but um, lawless like she could. Well, no, not lawless like they can't control the people there. They don't control the people there. They don't bother. They just leave them to it. As far as Denmark is concerned, that little area. It's only a small area. It must be no more than maybe half a square mile or something like that. It's um, it's just it's got its own rules and everything. It's not part of Denmark. Um, it's it's strange. It is a strange little place. I mean, it is part of Denmark, obviously, but as far as the law is concerned, it doesn't obey any of the Danish laws. So, uh, or Liverpool, yeah, it's just like Liverpool. Sorry, that was a terrible Liverpudlian accent. Okay, why all of a sudden is that not showing? Oh, because I'm not. There we go. Put it back. There we go. That should be right now. It was really weird though when you go through. There's the main street that runs through Christiana Freetown. I call it street very loosely because they don't have cars. It's just a dirt track basically. But the main street that runs through it is called Pusher Street, and it's called Pusher Street for obvious reasons because as you walk down, there's just huts, like little, like the ticket booths you get in London or Broadway that sell you the theatre tickets. There's just little booths like that, but they're all just selling weed. And there's each one's got a little guy in there with a ballot, with a mask on, kind of hiding his face and kind of. I don't know why they're hiding their face. They don't have cameras in it. Thank you for the follow, Misato 1979. And they're just there with massive tubs of weed and selling big joints, and it's bizarre. Such a bizarre place. Very interesting though. Really, really interesting, but very bizarre. They've got a very strange history as well. Like there's been some quite a nasty violence there as well. But it seemed all right. I think it's just like if you go at night time, I wouldn't go in there at night time at all. But through the daytime, it's fine. Just like Liverpool. I think I just did a restart and then I'm restarting again. So this is taking a bit longer than I anticipated, but that's probably because I've been talking quite a lot. Oh, see, that's gone too far now. What the hell? And it's still not correct. Okay, okay, what's going on here? Okay, so this is what happens if we divide by 4, and that actually does put it in the right position. Because remember, it was in the right position. So maybe the problem here hang on, no, it doesn't make any sense. Ah, I know why. Because okay, I know what's wrong. We're treating chars as 8 characters wide. They're not. This is like they're 16 characters wide. Because they're in nibble mode, the characters are actually 16 characters wide. So you have to actually divide by 8 to get that. So this is, instead of divided by 8 at the end, just divide by 4. But the problem is that that gives you a value. So if you divide a number by 4 when you should be dividing by 8 to get the byte offset, you're going to sometimes get a value that's an odd number, and the odd number will be offset by 1. So you need to remove the uh, bit 0, i.e., and FE, because otherwise we don't get the right value in the column, and we end up with a column that can sometimes be shifted by 1, and then that means that the byte right is incorrect, because that one column shift is not a column; it's actually 1 byte, which is half a column, which means we end up with a strange value in that. So this should be right now, I think. So what I'm hoping to see here is a hole in the scenery in the top left of the player's head. Um, I think it is slightly off. I think I do need to add a little value to this somewhere. It is slightly off. It should literally be right behind the player, and it's not. It's kind of, you see, it's just kind of in slightly the wrong place. Ignore the fact that it's kind of trailing behind, but it should be kind of down 1 and across 1, I think, or down 1 and maybe. Actually, no, maybe across is correct, but maybe it definitely needs to be down 1, I think. Um, uh, well, I'll tell you how we could figure that out. If we take our sprites, which are loaded in down here, I believe, at the moment, and if I just fill this, see if I fill like how much to fill here. I'm going to fill 8K, just with. I mean, I don't know what color it would be. It'd just be anything but 0. So if I just fill it with 0, 1, what we should see is a block instead of the sprite. That will give us a reference to whether or not that character is in the right place or not. I don't think it is going to be. Uh, okay, so it's not quite give us the right thing, but you can see it's not in the right place. It needs to be down. It's kind of right horizontally-ish, uh, because you see the top left, it's always pointing within that char boundary, even if it's not exact. So, okay. Thanks for the stream. We had a great stream after. We had a great after stream talk about last month's channel. We were comparing sizes. Exactly. That sounds really, really wrong. Oh, thank you again for the cheer, AD. I keep calling you AD. I mean Anton. It's because I read your name as ADTBM, and then I think you're called AD, and I know you're not called AD. So, cheers, very much appreciated. I hope everybody's got a nice 4-day weekend. I know I wouldn't want to be working at the moment, so apologies if you are, and my commiserations to you. But I hope everybody can have a nice Easter weekend break. I know it's not always that easy for you're working at the moment. It's Good Friday. Oh man, sorry to hear that. Okay, so I think the Y position just needs a little bit of adjustment. So let me have a look. So let's see what we got. So that's the X column. This is the Y column, but we're getting there. We're almost getting there. The other thing I think was thinking as well is because these characters are 16 pixels across and 8 down, we probably are going to need some more pixel perfect kind of comparison once we know that we've collided with something. Once the bounding box, if you like, or once the point collision says yes, we've hit this particular character here. That's at that point we can say, okay, but have we hit a pixel within that character? That should be pretty easy to do with point collision, because we can say, okay, is this point hitting a character? You say yes, it's hitting a character. Then you can say, okay, whereabouts in that character is it hitted, and we can from that we can calculate a pixel offset into the list. Okay, then I have to listen to music loud. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Jerry, for joining, and really good to see that your stream for once. I will try and make a habit of popping in more often on that. Good night. Yeah, so at that point we can check, actually, is that point that has just hit this, does it actually hit a pixel? Is it hitting something within that character, or is it blank space? And that will give us the pixel perfect collision, point collision, that is. And then for the sprite to sprite collision, we can do something similar. So we can say, are these two sprites overlapping? Yes, they're overlapping. Okay, if they are overlapping, um, can we take two for every character in that sprite that's overlapping? And that should be easy to work out based on the positions of the squares. We'll know how big this square is, and we'll know how offset it is into each sprite. So we know which characters are overlapping with which characters in this one. Then we can say, okay, if we copy all that data to somewhere in memory from one, and then copy the offset data from another one to memory using some kind of logical mask, we should be able to work out which pixels are hitting, and therefore we'll get pixel perfect sprite to sprite collision as well. Hopefully, that's the aim anyway. That's going to be a bit tricky to do, and I've never done this before, but I'm hoping DMA should be able to do that pretty quick. I think it will. I think it will. We'll see. Right, we've got about 40 minutes left, so let's try and get this exactly right. So I wonder about this top border. We do have to subtract this top border, but I wonder if it's too much that we're subtracting here for some reason. Um, Could it be the fine value needs to be subtracted rather than added at this point? Um, so let's just try something here. So I'm just going to flip these around a little bit. So I'm just going to copy them and comment the first ones out. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this value and I'm going to subtract this value. I just want to see if that's right, because I have a funny feeling that could be enough to throw this off. We shall see. Hey, Valheim, there you go. Already discovered that one. I don't know if you knew that one already, but yeah, already discovered. I've been really enjoying that game as well. I had another play a little bit tonight. I've killed the third boss now, so I'm on the fourth boss. Um, okay, no, so that's wrong anyway. You can see that that's kind of flipped it around completely. Now it's too far away. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So now I'm kind of I'm up a mountain at the moment, running around in the freaking snow, getting attacked by wolves. Trying to and I mean, you really do climb the mountain. You are not just running up a path. You have to take your time and like take ledge by ledge and kind of sprint and jump until you can get onto one bit. And if you make a mistake, you fall down the mountain and you die. And at that point, you cry because now you've got to climb up a mountain half naked uh, to try and get your stuff. Yeah, Outriders demo the other day. Yeah, I've heard that's not too bad. I want to try that out as well. I want to finish Valheim though first. I've put a lot of hours into that game. I need to complete it. I just enjoy it so much. It's really good. Okay, so it's like something here is not quite right. Okay, so if it's pretty bad, let's just go and have a look. So this should be. So the idea is the top left corner of the sprite, the very point of that top left corner, should always be pointing inside that cutout that we've created. It should always live inside that. And you can see X wise, it is. You can see if you look at the X position, it is definitely staying within that cutout. I mean, sometimes the cutout is doubled because of the way the thing works. But when we go up and down, that's not the case. In fact, it's only ever the closest it gets is to touch the bottom edge. So it's off by a whole 8 for some reason. Now, I could just randomly add that 8 and it would probably solve the issue, but I want to know why that is the case. I don't just want to add that in. Um, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that debug sprite in there because that's kind of handy. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to reposition the sprite, put the top of the screen and see if I get the same issue up there. Bearing in mind I can see the screen address at the bottom, so I can make sure that that's not causing any overflow issues. I was singing this tune in my head the other day when I was trying to go to sleep. It just kept going round in my head. All right, so you can see it's no different at the top of the screen. So it's not relative to how far down the screen I am. It is just broken. So let's move it down ever so slightly. Let's move it down 2 lines. One thing I do want to do with this scroller as well is I want lots and lots of kind of inertia and stuff in the scroller. I want it to, instead of being very hard tracked to the joystick, I kind of want it to flow around in a more kind of fluid manner, rather than just kind of aggressively track the joystick. I want it to track the player with a bit of delay on it, so it feels kind of fluid as you move around. But that's one for a later day. It doesn't really matter right now. Okay, so yeah, you can see it's not. It never goes inside. It goes inside there, but that's because it's actually it's misdrawn. This it's not filled in that gap yet, so we're still not inside it. If we're moving up, then it's the top half of this, and now that's the top. And now we're touching the bottom. If I move slightly, it will move. Yeah, there you go. See, when I go down, it never goes in, and in fact, when I go up, the only time it looks like it's going in is when it hasn't cleared behind itself, and there's still a hole there. That hole should be filled in. So why is that the case? So we're subtracting the border. Maybe the top border is wrong, but 28 puts us right at the top. I kind of feel like this somehow is wrong, but I don't know why. Take the Y point position and a Y offset. Okay, actually, one thing we might try here. Y point, Y fine plus the Y point. Hmm. Bear in mind as well, I will say this now, all the backgrounds that are there today, there will be even more tomorrow. And I will be going through the chat and probably looking at a lot of the things you've mentioned and adding those in because um, so you can't even trust what you said on the last stream because the next stream it might be there. I may have added it in, so I will be getting ideas from you all. I haven't put any 8-bit or 16-bit bit games in there actually, mainly because they don't lend themselves well to backgrounds. I was going to put title screens in for C64 games, you know, like loading screens and stuff, but I've got to go and find them. But yeah, they don't lend themselves to backgrounds very well. They tend to just be green screen. That's not a bad idea as well. One that just turns it off. But no, that green screen's not one as well. Okay. I mean, if I did this, it would work, right? I think this would work. Or plus A. I can't remember which one it would be. It would probably be minus A. Yeah, I think so. So a good point is if you wanted to see a background, you redeemed it, yeah. So this is the Monsters Inc. doors. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's all sorts in there. I tried to put a nice variation of things in there. See, that works, but I don't know why, and that's what bothers me. I mean, it is working perfectly though. That's exactly what I want. I mean, it bothers me. I can't. Oh yeah, I can get right to the edge. Okay, so I can get right to that edge, and I can pretty much get right to that edge. It's just it moves across as I go. But yeah. Hmm. Okay, I mean, I put that in there, but I'm gonna put a to do. Why? Because I don't know why. Why minus eight? Because I don't know why. So if we can DMU a background, what is the preferred dimensions? It just needs to be like 720p. If you just go with the standard kind of 720p thing, it will pretty much be okay. It may crop a little bit from the left and right edge. So always make sure if you're better off going with things that aren't got text on them because they may get cut off with the resizing because it does do some resizing to fit it into this box, but the main thing is that it's big enough to not get pixelated when it goes in. So 720p is probably about the right size. You can go a little bit less, you can go a little bit more, but if you send me like a 200 by 100 image, it's just going to look a mess and probably won't even fit properly either. You'll probably just get gaps in it as well. 320, yeah, 320 by 2 by 6 would probably be too small, I think. So like I say, 720p seems to be about the right resolution. That's some of them are a lot bigger, some of them are a lot smaller. And if you send me one, it will be your Twitch name, which will be the value. So in your case, steps, it would be BG steps underscore underscore would give you your background. And it will be undiscovered until you type that in as well. So you'll have to remember that you wanted it and then type it in. And it could be discovered before you do that by somebody pressing the button and discovering it. So okay, well, I mean that works, but it's annoying that I don't know why that works. Um, is it because? Oh, wait a minute. I think I know why it is. Because even though this is at 0, 0, if I move the sprite up to the edge of the screen, it's at 0, 0, but um, there's still a whole character that's above that. So actually, -8 is correct. That is correct. I'm going to remove that. I know why that is. Because the first row of the screen isn't necessarily row 0. It's almost always going to be row 1. Row 0 is the one that's in the border. You have to have one that's in the border for it to be able to scroll up and down correctly. Otherwise, you would see a gap as you move down. So yeah, that is correct. And you see this is as I move down the screen address that value in the where is it down there in the bottom left corner. You see it flickers between two addresses, and that's because one is one row, and the other number is the row below it or the row above it. I can't remember which one it is, but and that's why it needs the -8 because you don't have just row 1, row 0. You have 0 and 1, and it's toggling between those two rows basically. so that's why you need it. But there you go. We do have we do have oh god, a collision point which is now picking up from that top corner what we're touching. So now if we go and change that to point to the feet of Perseus and turn off this debug sprite and turn on the proper sprite animation data, hopefully what we should get now is a gap underneath. Oh, Toy Story is one. Toy Story is definitely one. I said I would tell you on this. This is the only stream I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you on other streams, but Toy Story is definitely one. Question is, can you guess what it's going to be though? And there we go. So we can see exactly what's beneath Perseus's feet, which is going to be more than enough to do the basic collision for now, anyway. The claw, no, it's actually a lot simpler than that. You think zoom backgrounds, because most of these are kind of zoom backgrounds, so it won't be Woody. That's it's actually quite a simple one. It's if you weren't familiar with the film, then you probably wouldn't know what it was because it doesn't have any of the characters in. So, but yeah, I will add the timer on because I think that's kind of necessary. Really, I didn't even think about how often people would type it. So, oh, who got that? Well done, Prow7. Well done. Oh, Prow, your Mega65 is pretty much ready to go. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Um, this is the new revised kind of the case. It's the switch is all working on it now because I was having some issues with the switches, as Sheila will probably tell you. His is a bit of a mess, really. I feel sorry for Sheila. His case is not as nice as the new ones. Um, it still gets a bit stuck now and again, but it still works. It's you just need to sometimes just jiggle it a little bit. But the next case for you, I might put a spiral on it actually on the new designs. I might put one on the back or something. Um, but yeah, I just need to program it. It's not got the SD card in it or anything yet. So I need to connect it up and program it, and I'll be sending this off to you early next week. And I've got this is the black one, which is Stoker's, which has got this one's got the Nexus N4 or whatever it is. And this is a slightly different one to the ones I've been giving out. So the ones I've been giving out to the competition winners have been the A7s, which are the newer boards. They're the only ones that are really still technically supported, or still available to buy, should I say. The N4s are kind of they're just getting rid of stock, and then they're not going to supply them anymore. But the advantage of the N4 is that the attic RAM works on these, and it doesn't on the A7s. So that's why I'm giving this one to Stoker because he's helping me with this game. And in case we ever decide to use attic RAM, I want him to be able to use it as well. It may be something that changes on the Mega 65. It may be that the A7 can one day use it. I don't know how it works. I actually I think there's a problem with the speed of it or something like that. Because it's DRAM, not PRAM, so there might be something incompatible. I don't know, but anyway, most of my stuff I'm trying to avoid using the attic RAM anyway, because it's slower and not everything's going to have it. So I'm trying to steer away from it. But just so that it's just that Stoker's on the same page as me. I've got him that board. So yeah, I'll program them over the Easter weekend, get them posted out during the week. So there we go. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, FaZe, for the questions. So yes, if you got any questions for tomorrow, so the first 2.5, 3 hours tomorrow, I'm going to go through Mega65 questions. We'll do some example codes again. So I'll create some new I'll create a new project, and we'll do some. We'll try and go through as much as I can with the. I'll go through as much as I can with the questions that you guys ask me. If you send me on private message, I'll get to those ones first, and then once I've gone through those, I'll go through anything that's been mentioned to me during the stream. So there we go. It's been fun hanging out. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Yeah, you too, Creative Steve. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for the follow as well. Hopefully, I'll see you again sometime. Um, I'm just reading some of the questions. Okay, yeah, these are. Bob's or soft sprites. Yeah, it's a shame actually that I'm not done with this framework. Maybe what I will do in the second half of the year, once I get this framework kind of to the state I want it in, and I'm happy with it, and it's kind of a what I consider kind of code stable version, in that it's not going to change massively and suddenly break all the API micro APIs and stuff. Then I may do another challenge, another game challenge, but give you this framework to work on. Problem is, a lot of it isn't going to work at the moment anyway on Xemu, because Xemu doesn't have nibble mode, so that isn't going to work. So it couldn't work if even if I wanted to give it you now, you wouldn't be able to use this on Xemu. But hopefully towards the end of the year, second half of the year, that will have changed. And I know Hernan's been working on nibble mode currently to help out Magic Eric with another world, so it could be something that's coming quite soon. Let me just check what my schedule is for the giveaways, because I have already listed what we're going to be doing. So we've got another C64 challenge next month. Then we've got Millfork in June. Then another C64 challenge in July. Don't know what we're going to be doing there. They're listed as Bytes challenge and other challenge. I have no idea what they're actually going to be though. So they're subject to change. Then August is TRSE. So that means September would be another C64 challenge. So it could be that October. I know it's a long way off, but time flies when you're in lockdown. That's for sure. But it could be October we do another challenge, which is purely to do with this framework, and we can test this out on next year. Give me time to try and get it to work on that. But yeah, so there's two more game challenges coming up in June and August with other languages that support the Mega65. So Millfork first, and TRSE second. I may juggle things around a little bit if I can't come up with a decent challenge. I think the Kaleidoscope and the Spiral were kind of made themselves really, but I'm worried that kind of keeping up with that kind of quality of challenge is going to be difficult. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Okay. So now we've got that underneath his feet. We can kind of say, let's work out what character number is under our feet. We know this is a space, right? So if space is 0400, say the memory address down at the bottom. Yeah, you have to wait 3 minutes for a new guess. Yeah, unfortunately. So what I will do is I will put a timer just here in this corner here, or in the other corner, one of these two corners. And basically, what will happen is if you have a guess while that timer is ticking down, it'll just flash red or something, just to show you that you guessed, but it's going to be rejected. It's even if you get it right, it's just going to be rejected. There's 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes. Yeah, I wanted to stop people spamming because I knew if I didn't put that on. Oh, for redeeming? No. Oh, yeah. Actually, it is 3 minutes. Actually, uh, it is 3 minutes, and I think there is. It's not the same 3 minutes though. So I don't think so. It's handled by Stream Elements, so I don't think it would. I don't think it would lose your points. I think it's handled automatically by Redemption. Oh, cooldown 10 minutes. Yeah, let me change that to 3 minutes. It shouldn't be that. There you go. And you can also only submit 10 in a stream because I didn't want people to just spam that and just reveal everything. I want people to guess what the backgrounds are. So I will let you do up to 10 in a stream, and then after that, you have to kind of wait for the next stream. So, and I'll try and always keep ahead. So there's more. So if you select a BG, if you guess a BG and you put one in, or you've used one that was there before, somebody can, yeah, as SP says, you can redeem one. As long as the redeem is timeout is done, you can redeem one almost straight away and replace that one. The redeem will always reveal one that hasn't already been revealed. So the only time you shouldn't be doing it is if there are no more left at all. So um, because it won't reveal anything, and you will lose your money at that point, lose your points at that moment. The redeem isn't doing that. What do you mean the redeem isn't doing that? Selected a BG recently, so I can redeem a new BG within a minute. No, it hasn't. It's picked a different one each time. The only one that's come up twice at the moment has been Valheim, and that's because Eldritch actually typed it in. None of the guesses have been stuff that's already been on. There's been some Star Trek ones which might look similar because they were bridges from starships that look a bit similar, but so as far I can tell, so far there've been no copies. And the code certainly wouldn't allow there to be the same, I think, anyway. I'd have to double check it, but I'm pretty sure everyone that's been redeemed so far has been a new one. So, all right, we've got 15 minutes left, so let's see if we can quickly do some changes here. I think there have been some discoveries as well. I think some people have discovered some stuff. But yeah, the discovery and the discovering the redeem is the same. So, but you only get a message if it's a new background. Okay, so what I'm going to do now instead is I'm just going to load these values instead of storing them. And now we're going to put these in these locations here. So we're going to get rid of the print hex from here. And we're going to put it in here instead. So now what we're doing is we're just trying to work out what character is underneath us. And I have a funny feeling that the space character is always going to be 0400, which is perfect because that makes very simple collision easy to do. Because we just check, is it 0400? If it's 0400, then there is nothing beneath us. And that can be the very basic beginnings of our collision system. Obviously, it needs a lot more, but for a very basic setup, this will do. So just getting rid of the top row of information in that debugger at the bottom and replacing it with in the left hand side, the first 4 digits will now be the character number. And hopefully now what we should see is it will be 0400 whenever Perseus is walking in the air, and not 0400 when he's standing on ground, sort of thing. Yeah, the redeem gets the redeemer thing above it. Yeah. I hope you guys like that thing. I did spend a little bit of time messing around with it today. Yeah, it seems to be working perfectly. Cool. Um, it was a little bit frustrating because it had some weird OBS has some weird kind of things with its version of the yeah, that's perfect. Cool. You see how 0400 whenever I walk in midair, it's 0400. The moment I stand over something in the foreground or on top of something, see, I have to if I get right on top of it, there you go. But even like the ladder and bushes and stuff, so it's picking everything up at the moment. So will need a collision table. So you see here, even though that's kind of air, it's still foreground characters that are being drawn. So um, we do need a collision table to say, oh, these things are passable, these are not passable. but yeah, OBS had some serious issues with loading the images, so it took me a lot longer than I thought. Anybody who was in the chat today, I think somebody was in it today. I can't remember their name now. I think it was Riker actually. Um, Anybody who was in the chat today would have seen me spamming backgrounds. I had to actually, because somebody, I think it was Riker, replied to me and said, "What the hell?" So at that point, I stopped typing in lots of names and just kept using the same 2 or 3 backgrounds to it, so I wouldn't give away too many names. Okay, that seems to be working perfectly fine, and getting 0400 until see like that bush there. Because it's foreground, it's going to be collidable. So what I might quickly do, I mean, this is going to be this. I've got like 10 minutes left, so this is going to be the simplest of simple things that I'm going to do, um, which is I am just going to replace the down uh, control with this basically, which is in here. Move horizontal, no. So here, update. This, as I say, this is very temporary, very temporary. So all I want to do is say that, and then in the end of the collision here, I'm going to say okay. So we'll keep those debugs in there because that's handy to have. And then what we'll do is branch if not equal to here, which will just actually we'll just return a number, which is fine. Otherwise, we'll check this, and then if this is 4, so get rid of that. Just put a little bit note in here to say chart at location. And if that is also 4, oh, sorry, if it's not equal to 4, then we'll jump to here. Now, if that isn't 4, it won't be 0, it'll be 1, 2, or 3. So this will still be non-zero at this point. So we'll only ever get to this point if it's non-zero. If this is 0, it comes to here. And then if this is 4, it ends up here. So at this point, we just put 0 in here. So the end result when we come out here is 0. Then we're hovering over air. If it's non-zero, we're not. So that means in here, I can run this routine. Then I can say branch of equal, because the last thing we did was load the accumulator, I think. Hang on. Yeah, the comparison is all, where is it? In the wrong thing. The comparison is all against the accumulator. There's nothing else. Here we have accumulator. Okay, yeah, so this is fine. Okay, so if it's equal to 0, so if it's not equal to 0, then we don't go down. So this is really simple collision. This isn't doing anything that we're going to use in the full game. This is really just to test that the Perseus character will move up uh, until he hits. Well, actually, he'll move up. I think I probably need to make his up movement because he's just going to move down until he hits something. Then he won't be able to go up. He'll jitter on the spot, I think. Uh, oh, there you go. Yeah, so he'll move up until he stops hitting something, and then he'll go down. And you see there, he's down, so I can kind of go up the ladder. Uh, so you can see he's kind of colliding things. It's not perfectly accurate, and he's obviously he's not jumping. You see, if I push up now, he just kind of goes a little bit above. But it gives you the idea that we can do this. If I stand on a ladder because he's on something, I'm going to be able to push up because he's not being forced down. The moment I walk and a gap appears underneath him, he will fall down. There's no jumping. There's no accelerated movement. We just have um, Oh, I'm gonna say that is there, Mads, but not spelt that way. So yeah, that's kind of working. So that means tomorrow when we do the rest of the collision code, we can start thinking about the character. Oh, did we start it off with? Did we start with Sydney? Okay, yeah, maybe we started off with that. I can't remember. There's been so many. This is the other cool thing. This is why I wanted to not give you like. There's no way of getting that list for you guys. I know what the list is. I know what you've revealed already, but there's no way you can find out what's been revealed already. You have to kind of be paying attention a little bit and remember what things are if you want to get them back again. Um, the only ones you'll remember for sure are the ones that oh yes, internet, that's right, yeah. The only ones you'll know for sure are the ones that have your name in them. And as I say, it's stuff you may try now that isn't there, may be there next time. So, and I will be looking through the list of things that people typed to kind of add those things in as well. Okay, I think I'm going to call it a night there. I think we're done all right. Or I may just chat for 5 minutes while I finish my cider. Let's, let's finish this. So tomorrow we'll go through the questions that you guys post to me on Discord. I've already got quite a few from FaZe, so I should be able to um, at least fill out a little bit of time. And if there's anything else when I've gone through these, then I'll take questions from chat directly. We'll try and explain what we can. Anton has said he'll be there as well, so he'll be able to ask any answer any other questions you may have that I can't answer as well, or may have additional information on stuff I've answered. Um, we'll do that for the first 2.5 hours. So we'll do 9:30 till to midnight doing that. I'll create a new project. I'll save it in that base code, so you've got another file that you can load up. And we'll use the emulator alone to do these things, because everything that you're going to be doing is going to be through the emulator. So we'll do that first, and then in the second half, we'll switch over to the real machine. We'll carry on with this. We'll actually, I think what we'll do tomorrow is start adding proper uh, controls into the character, and trying out some of the animations as well. So we've got a turn animation we can put in. We can make sure that the walk animation only walks when we're walking. We do have a jump animation. I need to take a look at it. I've not looked at it properly. I need to figure out if it's like a unit, because there's different types of jump animations. So if you think of Prince of Persia, there was very different yeah, BG Spiral's not there, but it may be soon because that's a good one. Um, um, yeah, Prince of Persia has different jumps depending if you're jumping straight up, if you're just jumping from a standing jump, or if you're doing a running jump. So I need to have a look at the jump and see if I don't think it's going to be universal. I think it's going to be a very specific jump. Um, so I'll have to take a look. But I'm I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling like we're going to be getting close to actually writing some game stuff, and the framework that I've got is going to be good enough um, to start kind of thinking about making other games as well in it. I do have something potentially coming up, which may be another Mega65 project that I do on stream. Just a kind of quick, short project that I do on stream. More details once I find out more about it. It's kind of just been mentioned to me um, as something that we'd like to see on the Mega 65, and I've agreed to do it if we can get everything in place for it. So no, it's going to be. I'll tell you now, it's going to be the port. It's going to be a port of an existing game on another platform. It's not going to be Checkanoid, and it's not going to be Creatures 3. I'll tell you that now. It's a completely different game, but it suits my engine quite well, and I think what we have already is very close to enough to make that game. So I'll let you know closer to time once things have been agreed on it. But there is potentially another game coming up. It should be a lot quicker though. So it's not Turrican, unfortunately, no. But it has some similarities to Turrican, but it's not Turrican. Okay. On that note, I think I'm going to call it a night there. I haven't quite finished my Kraken, and I only got through 2.5 cans of cider, but I think that's enough for me tonight. Um, let's find someone to raid. Find the right buttons. Uh, looking forward to the announcement tonight. Yes, there is a good announcement. I'll have tomorrow. It's probably not going to get announced on stream, but I'll probably re-announce it on stream. I'm sure you'll see the news before the stream anyway. But I will try. Let me find the raid button. There it is. I'll try and I'll make sure that I mention it again when we're on stream. Um, okay, Werewolf Dev is on Science and Tech. I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not sure. It looks like he's coding. It looks like he's on Stack Overflow actually. So it's always interesting to see what people are doing on Stack Overflow. So let's go and raid Werewolf Dev. Say hello to him. I don't think I've raided him for a while actually. Um, in fact, have I raided it? Oh, Toy Story background. There you go. Yeah. So there you go. It's just Andy's room basically. But it's one of those backgrounds. If you know the show, if you know the film, you'll recognize it. But if you don't, you'd be like, what? That's not my room. All right, let's go and raid. Let's go and raid Werewolf Dev then. Thanks, guys, for coming along tonight. I know it's Friday. It's a bit unusual to be streaming on the Friday, but I enjoyed it actually. I think in the future, once the kind of manicness of the pandemic and yeah, but I can't stop the raid properly now, so it's just gonna happen. So sorry about that. Um, yeah, once the craziness of the pandemic has died down and I'm potentially going to be moving at the end of the year. Once that happens, I may start streaming a bit more often because it does. I'm the most productive when I stream. So, all right, cool. Thanks, guys. I shall see you all on well tomorrow night, tonight, in fact. So cheerio. Take care and say hello to Werewolf Dev. Bye.